What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, come on, you know I don't watch that shit.
Why not? Too scared?
No, it's just what's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
Hello. And welcome.
Oh, wait, can we do it again?
Yes.
Hello. And welcome
to
Kim and Kat.
Kim and Kat.
Stay alive.
Maybe. We're a horror movie comedy podcast.
We're going to tell you the entirety of a movie, spoilers and all. And this week, my partner, Lauren Ketron Porter Martin, is going to see if she can stay alive.
And my partner, Kimberly Erin Marie Burns, is going to be the teller of the tale and the executioner should one be required.
We have something special this week that we're very
special.
excited about.
So excited.
We are doing a little spooky October collaboration with our friends at the Creep It Real podcast.
Yeah, they are a true crime podcast, and they research the ever-living fuck out of really awesome true crime stuff, but then there's also like some other stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like I learned a whole shit ton about voodoo and hoodoo. And it's really an incredible podcast, guys.
Yeah,
so
they
we're going to do a
really
collaboration
great
with them.
And they're amazing ladies. So, basically, they are going to research the true crime of this thing. What is it? And then we are going to cover the movie that is based on that true crime.
Yeah.
All I can say is after watching this movie, I cannot fucking wait to hear the truth that this is based on.
Oh my God. I can't wait. I'm so excited. And I don't remember what it is. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So here's a quick little intro of the Creep It Real girls. Hi, ladies.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, ladies.
You both look beautiful, and
Thank you.
it's lovely to see you
Yes,
as always.
It is very lovely to see you guys
Absolutely.
So to all of our Sammys out there, we told you we were doing a joint episode to introduce you to some of our dear pod friends. Meet Bianca and Ashley from the incredible podcast, Creep It Real.
Hello. Thank you. What a glowing review.
No kidding.
Yeah. Well, you guys are amazing. So we watched the movie of the event that you guys researched. And one of the things that impresses me the most is like your brains and how you use them and read all the books and then tell me about it.
Don't get too. Don't get the wrong idea here.
It's incredible.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Do you want to tell our listeners just like about your podcast or like how
Oh my goodness.
what it's
Yeah.
all about? What do you
Well,
do?
We talk about anything that is horrifying in the world. Truly is, I think, the most accurate description. It could be a monster or a human. That is just somebody. Usually, that's the worst. The humans.
Yeah,
The
for
human.
sure.
Yeah.
Agreed. We're the worst.
Yeah, really. I hate a lot more humans than I hate monsters. I'll tell you that.
Oh, girl, 100.
That's also one of my favorite parts of your podcast is just the very strong opinions against like, the assholes. Because I feel like that's very similar to us. We're like, this motherfucker.
We definitely don't hold back on our feelings.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I'm
It's the
very here
best.
for it.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
great.
you guys.
One of the things that I do love, though, is that, like, so Kim and I are kind of part of our premise is like our lack of research. Like, the whole point is that we need to know, like,
Zero.
nothing
Oh, for
about
sure.
the topic going into it.
Right.
And then you guys are
Very
the
true.
complete opposite.
Should we do so we do a little cheers on our podcast.
Okay.
And it's Gina Holes Out.
And then the response is tits up.
Tits up is good for me.
Yeah. So Kim, you start us off.
Okay. Gina holes out.
Tits up. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Okay. Do you want to hear about the movie?
I very much do.
This is called Ravenous.
I'm very excited.
It's from 1999.
Okay.
It is directed by Antonia Bird, a British lady.
What a cool fucking name, by the by.
Very British.
Yeah, Antonia Bird.
She's done a lot of stuff like, and I think more probably like British people would recognize more like she won like a BAFTA and stuff like that.
Damn.
And sadly died of cancer kind of young. So it's a bummer in
rest in
2013.
peace.
So R.I.P. Antonia Bird, Miss Bird. We hope to do you well. It's written by Ted Griffin, who also wrote fucking Ocean's 11.
Well, what the fuck now?
I know,
Okay.
right? So this is when you look at it, you know, it'll say like horror, sometimes comedy, you know, it has little genre words listed.
Sure, genre words, yes.
And this says horror, comedy, Western.
I'm sorry? Oh, horror, comedy, Western. That is not what I was expecting you to say. Especially when you're saying lots of British things. I'm like, Western Britain?
So it's not like in a saloon with like Dirty Harry kind of Western. It's like
is Dirty Harry in the West, or is that a 1920s gangster?
I thought Dirty Harry was isn't that
I'm
East?
Yeah, I'm thinking more like Billy the Kid. I thought Dirty Harry was like, hey, we're blowing this popsicle stand, see?
I thought he was like a slow walk into town. Like clutchink, clutching, clutching.
Are you thinking John Wayne?
I am thinking John Wayne.
John Wayne,
Who's
not
Dirty
Dirty
Harry.
Harry.
But doesn't Dirty Harry have a famous line that's like,
I'm gonna blow your brains out, you filthy animal, or something?
is that it?
Guys,
I only know that from Home Alone.
That's what I was quoting. I was quoting Home Alone.
But I don't know what movie I was playing in Home Alone.
Me neither. But also, if that's the movie you're thinking of, that was not a Western. He was like with suspenders behind a desk with a Tommy
But that's
gun.
not the movie I wasn't thinking of. But like I know is what the quote is. I don't know.
Kim
I'll
just said-
post-mortem.
Kim just said that's not the movie I wasn't thinking of.
I don't fucking know what's happening. This is a horror Western comedy. I'm gonna post-mortem for Patreon. All of this. Who the fuck is Dirty Harry? What did Clint Eastwood play? What's the other guy you said?
John Wayne.
John Wayne.
Gacy. No. Different John.
Oh no. I think John Wayne played Dirty Harry. Oh God. Stop talking. I'm gonna stop talking. Everyone's yelling at their fucking podcast machine right now.
Everyone is yelling at their podcast machine.
Anyway, it's not any of that. Moral of what I was trying to say, it's not that.
Okay. What? Would you be so kind as to tell me what it is?
It's not Billy the Kid. It's not ka-ching, ka-ching. It's just it just takes place on the Western frontier.
Got it.
Like
okay.
Western America in the 1800s.
So like the Oregon Trail.
Yes. Much more Oregon Trail.
Esther, your child has died of dysentery type situation.
Absolutely.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
100%. Your
Okay.
horse drowned trying to cross the river.
Wow. Kim, it took us a while, but we got there and we are now on the same page.
We are 100% on the same page.
Yeah.
And I'm
For a while,
here
we
for
weren't
it.
even in the same library. So
What we were doing. I can't wait to find out the answer to all
Me
of those
either,
things we
to
just
all
talked
of it.
about. Moral of the
shit.
story
Okay.
is we're not a Western podcast.
We are not.
Clearly. Okay, Ketrin.
Yes.
Dead or alive.
Mm-hmm.
Captain John Boyd.
Dead.
My pen doesn't work. Okay. Colonel Ives.
Dead.
Private Cleaves.
Dead.
Private Toffler.
Alive?
Colonel Hart.
Alive.
General Slauson.
Dead.
Major Knox.
Dead.
Private Reich.
Alive.
George.
Alive.
Martha.
Alive.
Okay.
Here we go.
So we start with a quote.
Okay.
He that fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster.
Ooh, absolute
Friedrich
power
Nietzsche.
corrupts absolutely. Friedrich Nietzsche.
Followed by a second quote. Eat me. Anonymous.
Or sometimes any of us.
Yes. All of us. So we have an American flag, old timey, not like 13 stars, but not 50. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's a whole bunch of army guys, and they're having a ceremony where they're giving a medal to someone, and it's for heroism, for infiltrating the enemy ranks and securing victory independently with courage and honor. And they're giving it to our friend Guy Pearce.
Hello, Guy.
Yeah.
All right.
And
I didn't know he was in this.
yeah, and he's looking great. He's got like kind of longish hair and some beard and stuff. I'm here for it.
I love a good beard.
Yeah, me too. And so we flash back to him in the war, and we see it says Mexican-American War, 1847. I'm sure you know all about it.
I know everything there is to know about the Mexican-American War in
1847.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That's
1847. That's what I said.
That's when Westerns took place.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
John Wayne Gacy.
100%. So there's this long table of just like soldiers sitting and eating. And they basically all sit down and they like, but they're all like in, I don't know if this is just their regular costume in outfit, uniform.
They're civilian clothes rather than their uniform.
No. I don't know if this is like, because when I want to just let you know that like when I say uniform, it's like the ones with like 1 million buttons down the thing. Like they look kind of fancy.
Okay.
As compared to like what might be in the trenches clothes.
Well, they're officers is what I'm
Yes.
getting. Okay.
Correct. So it's like this long table of them. They all sit down and they all have like a big piece of like steak in front of them. And Guy looks down at his and it's like kind of all like bloody kind of. And everyone starts like eating, but like scarfing it down. And they're like eating. And then like the head Captain Guy at the end is like looking at him and Guy kind of starts to like get a little uncomfortable and like it's like heavy breathing a little bit. And there's like a flashback to him in war again. And there's just like bodies and like blood.
Yeah.
And he then like comes at the table. He like gets up and runs outside and throws up.
Oh, poor thing.
Title card, Ravenous.
Ravenous.
So head Captain Guy like sends him away. He's basically like, you're no hero. And so he sends him to California to Fort Spencer. I know. Well, that's just, you have to be a fucking manly man in 1847, I guess.
God, so ridiculous.
The patriarchy's been around for a long time.
For a very fucking long time.
So he's going to Fort Spencer in California.
Hey.
And so then some like banjo-ish music starts playing. Because it's like, that's exactly what it's not. But it is like a banjo. I guess that's why I said banjo-ish.
Banjo-ish. Because you knew what the banjo song I was playing in my head and you were like, it's not that song.
It's 100% not that. And we're seeing snowy mountains that then turn into like a big open, like grassy field. And there's 2 travelers on horses coming. It ends up being our friend Guy and a lady. And they're coming upon a small camp. For whatever reason, like the best way I could describe it of what it reminded me of is like the wall on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like all the way in the north. It felt like that. Like it's just like one tiny small place
Okay.
with
I
like
get that.
things that are made of wood. Houses
I
that are
get
made
that.
of wood.
Okay. So it's
But,
like, yeah, it's like a
nothing is around them.
it's like a permanent encampment. Like
Yeah.
almost like a little self-sustaining,
Yeah.
very small camp, and this is where these people live, as opposed to like,
yeah, it's not
you
like
know.
tents or anything, but like there's also just nothing around. Like it's like one small little fenced in thing with a couple buildings.
okay.
And beep boop 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 boop. They go in. There's definitely like little bits of leftover snow around. It's cold California.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of like she takes him to his room and like brings him like a fur like blanket. And he's kind of just like looking around like what the fuck is this place? I feel like is what it felt like he was saying with his eyes. And
Okay.
he closes the door, and on the back of his door is like a little mirror, and he sees himself, and it's like a flashback to war again.
Oh.
And there's soldiers yelling his name, and there's like people shooting, people dying. It's like fucking chaos. And he just kind of like stops in the middle of it all and like lays down like into the dirt
Oh.
as people are like yelling for help.
Oh my gosh. God, can you imagine? We barely treat PTSD now. Can you imagine having PTSD back then where it's like there's no fucking treatment for it, and if you exhibit any signs, you're banished.
Right? Yeah, it's horrible.
It's excruciating. It's terrible.
So then we cut to the dad from Beetlejuice,
Hi, Dad from Beetlejuice.
Jeffrey
That-
Jones.
Yeah, that redheaded guy.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I don't see him as much of a period actor, but I'm ready to listen.
Yeah, he's like the captain of the Fort Spencer.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
So we're in his office, and him and Guy are having a little intro, and he's like, you know, looking at his paperwork, and he's like, oh, a war hero. Okay. And he's like, I guess you got a little reward. They sent you for the California Sun or something like that, you know. And he's got lots of books around, and they talk about books and walnuts. I don't know. He's a drawer of walnuts.
Sure, books and walnuts. Yeah, that's actually my other podcast.
That's his thing. And what good. You and Captain Beetle Dad would get along.
That's who is my co-host. Me and Captain Beetle.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He loves
Yeah, what a
books and
coincidence.
walnuts.
He does, yeah.
You got to crack them yourself, those kind of walnuts. The
Right,
old.
right.
So lots to talk about there.
Oh, yeah.
He asks if Guy has any hobbies, and he says swimming. So you can have that podcast with Guy Pearce as well.
I do. I have 3 podcasts.
Oh my gosh.
I
I'm
have
such a loser
Yeah.
over here with only one podcast.
Yeah, you got to snatch up your podcasts like your walnuts.
True. You know,
Yeah.
truer words have never been said. So he basically starts to explain to Guy about Fort Spencer.
Okay.
So it was the Spanish built it as a mission, but now it's kind of like a way station for Western travelers. But they don't get much traffic in the winter, so it's kind of just like a skeleton crew right now during the winter. So then he tells us who's there.
Okay.
Private Toffler, who's like their priesty kind of person, but a soldier. Major Knox, who's a drunk.
Sure.
Private Reich, who's like ultimate soldier. Like the first picture they show of him is like him just being in like the cold river with his shirt off and like,
ma'am, sir, ma'am, calm down.
Then there's Martha, who Guy met. She's the woman that came with him, and he's like, oh, I bet you didn't get a word out of her. And then there's her brother George. And they're both locals. So he's like, they kind of came with the place. So they're Native American.
Okay.
And then we see George now like smoking a big pipe with David Arquette.
What did you just say to me? David Arquette is in this?
He is in this.
Okay. Dewey, what's up?
Yeah. And he's Private Cleaves, and he says that he's over medicated, and like it's David Arquette just like smoking a peace pipe, like hysterically laughing, just like he's a Looney Tune.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And so basically now all of them, including Guy Pearce, makes 8. So then now Guy, with his new promotion, would be number 3 in command.
Okay.
So now they're at dinner. They all sit at a big table together, and they're like, okay, let's do a prayer. So like Toffler, who's like Jesus, is the Jesus soldier.
The Jesus soldier, yep.
Is who also, I think Jesus has a little bit of like Asperger's,
Okay.
Like a little bit. Like he's a real, like he just is like a quiet, shy, like he's always like just like talking do kind of thing.
Does he appear to have conversations with other people in the sense that like is he responding to others in a logical way and just talking quietly?
Yeah, he's a low talker.
Low talker. Okay.
Jesus is a low talker. So so they're like, say a prayer, and so he just quietly mumbles something, you know, and they're like, amen, and start eating.
Okay.
And so Captain Beetlejuice is like asking if he's like, so did anyone like actually do anything today? And David Arquette's just at the end, just fucking laughing like a maniac.
Been there.
Yeah.
Am I at this camp?
Are we all at Fort Spencer?
Yeah.
And so Captain Beetledad is like, you know, we have great camaraderie here. So now it's snowing outside. Guy is out there by himself, just kind of like looking at the snowy landscape.
Okay.
And it's kind of like they have flatness around them, but there's like ahead, there's like trees and mountains and stuff.
Okay.
And so there's a little flashback, and we kind of just hear the voiceover of someone asking him, like, so how'd you get behind enemy lines? And he says, I froze. I was scared. And they're like, you were scared. You froze while your unit fought and died.
Yeesh.
And then we see the Mexican army, like, dragging his body, and he says he played dead. And so now we see a pile of bodies, and he's at the bottom.
At the bottom of bodies.
And he said, I was buried with my commanding officer's shot off head in my face. And so there's just like blood dripping all over him, like into his mouth and shit.
What? I hate that so much.
You don't want to do that?
I don't want to do that at all.
Okay.
At all. I want only my own blood in my own mouth.
Fair. I'll take that off one of my birthday options I was going to do for you.
Oh, somebody else,
know.
other people's blood popsicles?
Yes. You know, it's supposed to be a warm day.
Yeah. Bloodsickles.
So he's like, the blood was like running down my throat. So he's
Close your mouth!
And so cut to him like spitting out blood. And they say, how did you take the command post? And he's like, I don't know. Something just changed. And now it's Guy like crawling out of the pile of bodies. And then he like sneaks up on a Mexican officer, snaps his neck, takes his gun, and then holds up the other officers. And the voiceover is like, well, I mean, we're going to promote you. We could shoot you, but you single-handedly like took over like the other command. So that might set bad precedent.
Wow, that's how everyone wants to get a promotion. We could promote you or we could kill you.
Yeah, that's
Either
what we'd
one.
prefer to do, but it would look bad. So
Yeah, sure.
So basically, they're like, "You're a coward, but you ended up doing this good thing. So like, here's your
cancels itself
promotion,
out.
but also you're going to Fort Spencer."
Got it.
So cut to now, Cleves, David Arquette, and Martha are going to get supplies. They're on horses, and Captain Beetledad tells them like, "Be back in 3 days," and he's like, no loco weed, no peyote, no women, Cleves.
I love Cleves.
Fucking Cleves is just like reading the list. He's like, okay, no, we got bread and bacon and butter. And he's like, so they go off on their way. So now it's nighttime, and Guy is in his room, and he's like looking at his medal. And Captain Beetledad comes in and asks, like, what did you get it for? And he says, cowardice.
Eesh.
So Captain Beetledad invites him for some of Major Knox's bourbon, because he like looks at his watch and he's like, he should be passed out by now.
Sure.
So they're cheersing and cheesing and loving their life. And so the cabin, there's like one big main cabin, I guess, that has kind of like a central place with, I think, like rooms around, like in it, basically. Okay. All one floor, and it's all like woody cabiny. And then there's just like one or two other buildings.
Okay.
So they're in one room drinking, and then like Toffler, I think, is out in like the main room at the piano, like writing some like religious hymn, but he's just like
That's so cute.
And
it's like a little mouse writing a hymn.
He's very cute. And basically Captain Beetlejuice is like, can you stop and also bring us some ice? So now Captain Beetledad and Guy are just in there talking, and all of a sudden Guy like stops and like looks behind Captain Beetledad. The window behind him, he like saw someone kind of like walk by or something out at night.
Oh shit. Okay.
It's nighttime. Question number 1, what do you do? What do they do?
I'm going to keep Toffler Jesus inside. I don't mean to be judgmental, but he doesn't seem like someone who would be great in some sort of hand-to-hand combat situation. And I can't yet rule that out. So I'm going to say you sit tight with your hymns. And then I'm going to say that me and Captain Beetledad go out armed with our weapons.
Okay.
But then I think Guy goes out by himself, maybe to like prove that he's not a coward to his new camp or whatever.
That's 1/2 point.
Okay.
So they all go outside. And
Even Toffler.
It seems like the whole gang.
The whole gang. Okay.
And they all who are not passed out, I assume. And they bring they have like torches, and they see a man like passed out on the ground who's like barely alive, and it's so cold, so they're like, bring him in, and they like try to wake him up, but they put him in like a really hot like bath, and then they're all like rubbing like his whole like body to like wake up like his body warmth.
That must have been so fucking painful though, like going from
he doesn't seem like totally awake, so
okay,
I don't think he knows what's going on.
Okay,
but they like sit him by the fire and cover him with blankets, and Guy kind of like looks at the blood on his shirt, and Captain Beetledad is like, let him rest and pray. So like Toffler Jesus stays with him.
Okay.
So now it's the next day, and Toffler comes running out, and he's like, he's awake to Captain Beetle and Guy. And they're like, okay, go get Major Knox, because he's like the doctor-ish.
The doctor in quotation marks.
Yes, 100%. And then he goes into like Major Knox's room, and he's like, Major Knox, he's awake. Like, just so quiet. He's
so quiet.
Jesus is such a low talker. I didn't know it about him.
He's such a little teeny tiny mouse man.
And he kind of like, Major Knox like is like, whoa, like wakes up from his passed outness, and then he tells him, and he's like just goes back to sleep. I'm sure he's hungover.
Sure.
So now we're with this dude, and he asks like where he is, and they tell him that they're in the Western Sierra Nevadas.
Okay.
So that's where we are. He says his name is Calhoun.
Okay.
And he's actually has like a rosary like wrapped around his hand.
Okay.
That he's holding. And he's got, kind of longish hair and like a scruffy beard and stuff like that. And he says that he's like been out there for 3 months.
3 months?
3 months. And they're like, without food? And he says, well, I used to be 30 pounds heavier, but I said no food, not nothing to eat.
Sir?
So
Sir.
here's the story.
Okay.
He says, there were 6 of us. A man and wife from Ireland, a dude from Virginia with his servant, and our guide, who was a military man. His name is Colonel Ives.
Okay.
And they don't know who Colonel Ives is, but he's like, that's good because he's a detestable man. And he basically they're Oregon trailing it. So like they are it's the exactly
Right.
You know what it looks like.
Yeah, they have little green letters that appear to let them know who has
100.
dysentery and if they lost any oxen in the river. Yep,
Exactly.
I got it.
So they have the wagons and they're like trying to pull the horses and stuff like that. And basically, Colonel Ives said that he knew a new, shorter route through the Nevadas, but it ended up being like impossible to travel. So they're like trying to get their oxen across, and they're like,
This sounds
beep boop.
beep boop beep boop. This sounds awful. I much prefer the computer screen Oregon Trail, not the real.
Me too.
Oregon
I
Trail.
loved that.
Yeah.
So much better. So he talks about how they had their first snowfall, but they were still 100 miles away. So they're like, okay, let's try to find shelter in this cave and wait till the storm passes. But it didn't pass. And the trails were impossible, and we ran out of food. We ate the oxen, all the horses. That lasted a month. Then we ate belts and shoes and roots, but there's no nourishment there. We were famished. Jones ended up dying from malnourishment. And then he says, I was out for wood, and when I came back, they were cooking his legs for dinner.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah, and he is kind of like in a little bit of a teary like way. He's like, I mean, would I have stopped would I have stopped them like had I been there? I don't know.
If you are about to die of malnourishment and you do die of malnourishment, do I need to feel guilty for eating you?
Of course not. Eat my body.
Okay.
It's there for you.
Eat my body. I am Kim. That was my.
Am I Jesus now?
Yeah, that was my
Nice.
Jesus hymn for you. Yeah.
No, I'm all about it. I feel like we've discussed this before. If you need to stay alive by eating my body, please do.
Yeah, I also am going to go one step further and say that, like, if I look like I'm about to kick the bucket, like, it's like, she's going to die. You can just end it and start up the barbecue right then.
Oh, thank
like,
you.
You don't need to wait for me to die. We all know what the end of this story is. So,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, don't outright kill me or anything, but
Oh, so you don't want to be outright killed?
no. I mean, if I'm like on my deathbed, yeah, kill me. But like, if it's just 2 of us stuck in the wilderness, don't fucking kill me, bitch.
Oh, no. I'm not going to do that. I'm saying, like, you're on your deathbed. And I'm like,
Yeah,
you're
that's
going to
fair.
die. But, like, do you want to just die now? And I am going to eat you.
Yes, as long as we have a discussion about it.
Okay, great. Good.
But
I'm
if
glad
it's
we
just
figured
the
this
2
out.
of us and we're famished, we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do.
Maybe we'll just cut off little parts of ourselves, and we'll have just like
Oh.
a little crudité of each other.
That's sweet. We'll just
Yeah.
slowly live off each other.
Yeah. Aw, that's cute.
That's really nice. We're best
Yeah.
friends.
We are.
So he basically was like, when I came back in the cave, the smell of meat cooking, I thanked the Lord.
I mean, yeah.
And he says, then things got out of hand. I ate sparingly, others did not. The meat lasted a week, but then we were hungry again. But different, more severe, more savage. And Colonel Ives could not be satisfied. So we ate the next guy and then the next guy until there was only Colonel Ives, me, and Mrs. McCready left. And he's
Colonel Ives, Calhoun, and Mrs. McCready. Okay.
Yeah, basically the only lady on the trip.
Okay.
And he says, I knew my days were numbered and I was weak, so I fled.
I hear you.
And Captain Beetle Dad is like, so is Mrs. McCready still there? And he says, yeah, and Colonel Ives, as far as I know. Question number 2, what do you do? What do they do?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sit tight in my little encampment. I just kind of feel like, I hear you. That sounds like a shitty situation. But I got to put my own oxygen mask on first. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say, Calhoun, you're welcome to stay, but we're going to chill. I think Calhoun and Guy, I still think Guy has this like desire to be like, I'm not a coward. So like, I think he's going to go. And then I think Beetle Dad is going to go too.
Double ding.
Yay!
Captain Beetle Dad is like, okay, pack up. Let's go. We need to go out there. It's our job.
Okay.
So they start prepping guns, and he's like, it should be like 3 to 4 days march from here, I assume.
Okay.
So now George brings in, so I think at this part, it's just like Captain Beetle Dad and Guy, and George brings in like a picture on like a animal, but like
on an animal.
A piece
he brings in an elk with a picture shaved into its body.
A piece of the fur lining.
The hide
of the animal.
But it's
like a drawing
picture
on it, like a picture on it. You know how that's just like like you buy them on the street corner of La Brea, those cow things. It's like that, but small, just a little piece.
But what
and
I'm
then
saying
they
is,
draw on it.
Right. Okay. So the drawing is, I was not understanding that there was a drawing on it. I thought you were saying like something was shaved into it, but you're saying it's like,
no, it's like a drawing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So it's a drawing, and it looks similar to like something you'd see on like a cave wall sort of thing.
Okay.
Like it's like this picture
Primitive looking.
This picture represents something. Not so much primitive, but it's just like this is clearly a meaningful thing. So he brings it in and he says, Wendigo. And it's an old myth where man eats another flesh and he steals his strength / spirit, and his hunger becomes insatiable. The more he eats, the more he wants, and the stronger he becomes. Wendigo. Uh-oh. So it's like a Native American
lore.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So now it's morning, and they're getting ready to go. Major Knox is staying. He goes and has his morning puke. And
I remember those.
Right. Oof.
We had some morning pukes in our days.
I've had some morning, night, all the time pukes.
Yeah. Usually in someone's drawer.
Oh. And so, okay. So he's the only one staying. And they remind him, though, that like Cleves and Martha should be back in a few days from the store. Okay. So on our trip, we have Captain Beetle Dad, our friend Guy, George, who's Martha's brother, Toffler Jesus, Private Reich, who's super soldier, and then Calhoun is coming. And they're a little surprised by it, but he's like, oh, I mean, I don't know that you would stand a chance finding it without me. So like, they're like, okay. Oh, so kind of you, sir, to like come with us, basically.
Right. So the only people we're missing basically are quotation marks Dr. David Arquette and Martha.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So now we start traveling, and there's on foot, and there's some more banjo-ish music, and they're kind of like a fumbling bunch.
Okay.
You know, you see it.
I do.
Like, I don't know. They drop something. It's whatever. So now it's nighttime.
They're an encampment of misfits. A camp of misfit toys.
Yeah. It's not the A team.
Sure.
Up in Fort Spencer. So now it's nighttime. They have a little camp set up. This is just a random scene. I don't know why, but it's here. So I'll tell it. And so Toffler is just like sitting and like humming, like writing his song. And he's clearly trying to think of something to like rhyme, because he keeps being like, vent, advent. And so Calhoun is just like laying next to him with like his hat over his face, and he's like fervent or something like that, you know, and he's like, yes.
It's like me feeding you words that you can't
Yes. Aww. I am Jesus.
You are Jesus.
So now it's day. They're traveling again over some water, and now they're at on some snowy mountain area, and they stop for a bourbon break. And Guy kind of pulls like Guy and Calhoun have a little talk by themselves, and Guy like asks him about like eating like a man, and he's like, afterwards, was there any huge difference? Like, did you feel physically changed or like stronger or anything? And Calhoun is like, I mean, there was like a certain vitality. Like, yeah, like why?
But also it's like you haven't eaten in a long time. So I imagine eating anything. You're going to be like, oh, this is what being alive feels like.
Yeah, that's the valid point.
Yeah.
But in that moment, Toffler Jesus comes up holding a bone, and he's like, bone, bone, bone. And then he slips and then tumbles down the mountain, down some rocks, and lands on like a ledge. And so Private Reich super soldier like jumps down, and he's like, oh, like he's hurt, but he's okay.
Was it like a big bone?
I didn't even see the bone because he basically was just like running and then was like tumbled away. Down
was that your favorite part of the movie? It's okay. It was your favorite part of the movie.
I watched something. Oh, I was like, what did I watch that I felt so bad about laughing at? I was watching Great British Baking Show, which is my current comfort food. And like, it was like a 2 big double cakes, but it was so hot. And so they like, it was all set up like it had finished, you know, and they like had to leave the tent like before judging. And then like they look out from the window outside the tent, and like the cake just toppled over. And I laughed so hard, and I felt so bad because she was like crying.
This is fascinating to me, though, that your love of things falling extends beyond children and to cakes.
It's because you saw it happening. You were like, no.
So, are you a huge fan of the game Jenga?
No.
What?
I don't find that funny.
Well, this is strange.
I think because it's expected. Like, the point of Jenga is like you play till it falls. So, like, it's not like a surprise fall.
So, you like the unexpected fall of baked goods or children.
Correct.
Great. I'm glad we sorted this out.
If anyone needs to find a birthday present for me, it's in December.
Ah, shit.
So
Jesus fell down the hill with a bone. That we
yes.
Okay.
Correct. But he's alive. He's okay. So now it's nighttime. They have another camp again. And Toffler Jesus is like has like a big like wound on his side that Private Reich is kind of helping like wound up. Wind up your wound. And this is the first time that Toffler Jesus is like gets a little like he's like bourbon, and like no one really hears him or like listens or pays attention, so he's like bourbon now.
It's a great time to find your voice, Jesus. Honestly.
Yes. And a great
perfect
reason.
time to find your voice. Yeah.
So Jesus is a big fan of bourbon. Guy brings it over to him and like kind of like looks away from the wound. And so Private Reich like kind of like busts his balls a little bit because he's like, oh, a war hero who's afraid of the sight of blood.
Okay, Guy. Not Guy. I'm talking to you, Guy.
Sir.
Not Guy Pearce.
Guy,
Sir.
not Guy.
Listen, not Guy.
I know I wrote Guy the entire time in my notes, and then I was like, once in a while I wrote Guy for not Guy Pearce, and then I was like, oh, fuck, Guy, what's happening? Okay.
Guy, not Guy.
So now we're all asleep in the tent, and we kind of hear like a strange like little noise, and then someone starts to scream. And so they all wake up, and someone like lights a light, and Toffler Jesus is like freaking out, like up, like pushed up against the back of the tent. And he just says, He was licking me.
No.
He was licking me.
No. This does not bode
And
well.
points to Calhoun. And
This is getting bad.
Calhoun is like, no. And so they take him outside, and Jesus is just like, yes, outside. So they
The
talk to
idea of me licking someone and then trying to hide that I was licking. I wasn't licking anyone. Who was licking anyone?
I can't imagine either of those situations. So Calhoun tries to explain. He's like, I was having a nightmare, and I woke up, and my mouth was in his wound.
In his wound?
Yeah, he was
In his
licking like his wound, like his bloody side.
I thought it was licking maybe his like exposed shoulder or something. He was licking his bloody wound side?
I mean, it was in the dark, but I'm pretty sure that's the sense that I got.
That is more upsetting.
So, like, that's why he was specifically licking Jesus, because he
Right.
is a bloody side
Right.
wound.
Right. Wow, this guy really is Jesus. He's got a bloody side wound and somebody is eating him. I did not know this was the story of Jesus.
This is actually the Western Bible,
The Western Bible.
the old West Bible, I should say.
Yep.
So, basically, Calhoun is like, you should restrain me. Like, I can't be trusted. I insist.
I agree, and no problem.
So now it's daytime. They're all traveling again, and Calhoun's hands are like tied in the front, but Private Reich is the one kind of holding on to him,
Right.
yanking
Guy,
him
not
around.
guy.
Yeah. And George and Guy are ahead, and he just says to Guy, Wendigo.
Wendigo. Oh, no. He's got a taste for human flesh.
So now we're kind of in a more woody area, and we see the cave ahead. And
Oh, that was quick.
Calhoun starts kind of freaking out a bit.
Okay.
And they have to cross like a little bit of a river stream bed to it. And the closer they get, he kind of starts like, he's like, no, please. Like, I don't want to go, you know? And so like, they kind of throw him down on like the side of the cave. And he's just like freaking out. Captain Beetle Dad is like yelling inside for people. No response. Reich is just like holding a gun on Calhoun, who's just like kind of hyperventilating a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, they're like, okay, someone has to go in. So Guy and Private Reich are going to go in. The others are
Okay.
going to stand guard.
Okay.
So they have lanterns, and they go inside the dark cave. And outside, Toffler Jesus has a gun. He's kind of like holding it in the back. And then George is on one side with like a bow and arrow. And Toffler's like, if she's not here, we're going to go back, right? If she's not here, we're
Yes.
going to go back.
Yes.
And like Captain Beetle Dad is just kind of like looking around. Inside, it's like dark as fuck. A bat flies by them, screeches, and they like
Aw.
see some blood on the ground. And then they get in further, and there's just a hole in the ground with a rope going down.
Oh, no. So now they're bat people who also eat people. They're people eating bat people.
So basically, Reich is going down the hole. Guy is scared.
Yes.
Standard. I wouldn't go down the hole simply because I always found the fucking climb the rope task in gym class. Like I was like,
Oh,
well, if I
yeah.
go down, I'd never get back up.
Never get back up. And then also, like, you would have the worst rope burn on your hands
Oh
of
my
your
gosh.
life. And then
My hand
modeling
modeling
career,
career.
goodbye. Yeah.
So that's my reasoning for not going personally.
I completely support it.
But you know, I'm no super soldier. So he goes down, and it's basically like a little cave below. And back to outside, Calhoun's like freaking out, hyperventilating, and like Captain Beetle Dad says that he's spooked, and Toffler's like, he's spooking me. Back inside the cave, Reich steps on something. It's like a boot. and then some other boots, and then some bones,
Oh no.
and then an
And
entire.
Jesus is like, bone, and then falls down the
And he
hole.
falls down the hole again. And then an entire skull with hair connected to it.
Right. Sure.
And at this point, Guy's like calling down to him, and then he looks up, hung up skeletons.
Oh.
So it's just like upside down bodies that are hanging that are now skeletons.
Oh, jeez.
And he counts them. And he's like, how many were in that party? 6, right? And he's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So who's this guy then? Because if there's 6 there plus
Yeah.
Calhoun, and he's like, he looks down on the ground at some of the clothes, and he
Right.
sees an army coat.
Oh.
And he says, one of these bodies that's been eaten is Colonel Ives. And he's
oh,
like,
shit.
it's a trap. So he like fucking starts running, ends up dropping the lighter, which starts a fire, climbs up the fucking thing. Outside, Calhoun's like breathing like crazy. Toffler's getting scared. It's like super intense music. Calhoun starts like digging in the fucking dirt like a dog. Like he's just like, and then Reich's climbing up the rope inside, and he's like, he killed everyone. He killed everyone. And they start to run, and they're like yelling, but they're too far in the cave, so no one can hear them.
Right.
Calhoun's digging. Reich is like, kill him. And Calhoun gets up, and he kind of has crazy eyes. And everyone else is kind of just like watching the opening of the cave, like waiting. And Calhoun ends up picking up a knife from the dirt that he was just digging in.
Oh, shit.
And then he charges and stabs Captain Beetledad in the side. George throws an axe from like above, and Calhoun moves Beetledad's body and blocks with the axe. So now he's an axe in him.
Oh, shit.
He takes his Captain Beetledad's gun and then shoots George, who like falls off the back of like a hill thing.
Oh, no, George.
Dead. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Then Calhoun pulls out the knife, holds up the gun towards Toffler, pulls the trigger of Toffler, like winces, but there were no bullets.
Haha. Well, and also he's Jesus.
He can't die.
Yeah.
So Calhoun is just like, that is so annoying.
What? Ah! Your demeanor has changed, and I feel uneasy about it.
And then he takes off his coat and covers up Captain Beetledad. And Toffler's just like standing there, like staring and low humming, kind of like. And Calhoun just looks at him, holds up the knife, like bloody knife, and says, "Run."
This is not how I thought this was gonna go. I was sitting here smug as fuck because I was like, I know how this is gonna go. They're
what
gonna
did you
get
think?
there. So I was like, they're gonna get there, and we're gonna learn that the only way that Calhoun could negotiate to not be eaten was if he agreed to go find other people for General Ives and Miss McCready to eat. So I'm sitting here like all smug, like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. I hope I can like keep it together so that Kim doesn't know that I figured it all out. Turns out I did not.
Nope, bitch. So Toffler starts running. He goes back like across the little river thing, and Calhoun
Runs
chases
right
him.
over the river because he's
He
Jesus.
can walk on water, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
So he actually floats across the water.
Yep.
And at this point, finally, Private Reich and Guy get out of the cave, and they see right in front of them Captain Beetledad, like very hurt.
Oh, not
Like,
even dead yet. Okay.
But still but gurgly, bleeding from the mouth situation, like thing.
Sure.
Not quite dead yet, but. So then they hear Toffler kind of screaming in the woods, and Reich is like, come on, we need to go. And Guy is like still like kind of like holding Captain Beetledad and like staring at his bloodiness. And Reich pulls him and is like, you can't help him. Like, we need to go. So they go after Calhoun, and now we have some more banjo-ish music.
Sure.
But this one is a little bit more like chasey, you know.
Chasey banjo music. Got it.
Yeah. And so it's like woods, chasing, banjo. and they hear a scream, and then it's like complete quiet.
Oh, no.
And Reich and Guy are like looking around. And then Calhoun is like kneeling down on top of something, but he sees them and like yells and runs away. And so they run towards like the sound, and he's running, and then they come upon what he was kneeling on top of. It's Toffler Jesus.
Right.
And he just has a completely like open stomach.
Right. So he was having communion.
He was just really getting down with that communion.
Of course.
He's like, forgive me, Lord, for I have sinned.
Right.
I need all the Jesus I can
all
get.
the Jesus I can get. Yeah. Yeah.
So they go up, and Guy like can't even look at it. And Reich is like, let's go kill that bastard. So now they're like running and hunting like through the trees and mountains and stuff. And like they see him and they shoot and miss. And then now we're kind of like on the side of a cliff. Like it's kind of like a ledge area. So there's like trees and then just like a ledge of stone. And then it's just a drop off.
Okay.
And they're kind of looking around there. And Guy's like, I'm going to go back. And Reich grabs him and he's like, we're going to find him. And
Go back to what?
I don't know. I think he's just scared.
Okay. All right.
And the Guy is still kind of like wary and stuff. And so now Reich starts like climbing up in like the trees a little bit. And Calhoun like jumps down from something and throws a knife into Private Reich's chest.
Oh.
And Private Reich falls backwards and tumbles off the cliff.
Tumbles off the cliff. Sure. Sure. And Kim laughed her fucking head off.
Question number 3. Your Guy. What do you do? What does he do?
Did I see this?
Yeah, it's all right in front of it. You're on
Okay.
still on this edge of the cliff part. It's all
Okay.
right in front of
And
you.
where is Calhoun in relation to me?
So like there's the edge of the cliff and you're on standing right basically on it.
Okay.
And he's in front of you along where
Okay.
the trees are. So yeah, he's like right there.
But he doesn't have a knife anymore because it's in Riker's chest.
Correct.
Okay. I am going to go with the element of surprise. Hear me out. I am going to charge Calhoun like a crazy person. Like I'm going to out crazy the crazy person and like charge him, pummel him down, and then run my fucking ass off like as far as I can.
Okay.
I think what Guy does Guy try to like negotiate with him? And he's like, okay, you know, don't eat me. Let's talk about this. Let's have a discussion.
Point for you. I think going on the attack sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, you're between a cannibal and a cliff. What are you going to do?
Exactly. Guy shoots Calhoun.
Because he has a gun.
He has a gun.
I forgot he had a gun.
And Calhoun drops to the ground. And so now Guy like looks over the cliff because fucking Reich just fell off, you know.
I'm getting real cocky this episode because even then I was like, I remember that the knife is in his chest. So I remember that he doesn't have a weapon. And then you're like, but you have a gun.
You have a weapon.
an idiot. And I'm like, oh, right. I'm getting real cocky.
So behind him though, Calhoun starts kind of making some noises, like he's like waking up a little bit, and he kind of sits up laughing with like blood in his mouth. And now they're like cat and mousing each other.
Sure.
Like because
Oh no, I see it.
Guy can't get past it. Like Guy is now still stuck between a cliff and a cannibal.
Cannibal. Yeah, the age-old saying.
Yeah. And so it's
Stuck
like
between
every
a
time
cliff
he
and a
moves
cannibal.
right, he moves right, and he's like whoop whoop
Yeah.
whoop whoop.
But why doesn't he just shoot him again?
So because it's old timey times, I think he doesn't have any more bullets.
Oh, and to get another bullet, you have to be like, let me open this up. Let me remake my gun, basically. Let
Yeah.
me dismantle my gun and remake my gun to shoot again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know the 1847 guns because it doesn't seem Revolutionary War gun, but like
Right.
it's whatever. He didn't seem to have any more because they're back and forth boop booping it, and then Guy just throws his gun at him, and he's like, "Get away from me!"
Sure. I hear you.
And Calhoun's just kind of egging him on a little bit more. Question 4. You're a guy. What do you do? What does he do?
Well, I already threw my gun. So,
You don't have that.
I don't have my gun. Okay. So since he didn't do my idea last time, I'm going to do that again. And I think it'll be even more effective because he was in fact shot. No?
Yes.
Okay. Where was he shot?
I believe his shoulder, it appears.
I mean, that'll bleed out or go gangrenous. That could still be a kill shot. Does Guy... So I'm going to charge him again and then run forever. But pick up my gun. Does Guy... So where is the gun in relation to Guy?
He, like, just chucked it away. Like, he threw it at him, and then now it's gone.
Okay.
Or whatever. I guess it's, like, behind. Like, I would say it's behind Calhoun.
Okay.
I don't know.
So then... Does Guy... Maybe Guy charges him too?
I'll give a point for you again. Like, I think give it a try. Charge that dude. Because he's not expecting it, I guess. But it seems like it might be a little more difficult now that he's cat mousing you. He's definitely...
Cat mousing me.
He's definitely egging you on. Guy turns around, runs, jumps off the cliff.
Jumps off the cliff. Well, now shit. All right.
Jumps right off.
Okay.
Free falls for quite a while, but then hits some very tall pine trees.
Well, that was lucky.
And obviously they stop his fall, so now he's just falling down pine branches. So it kind of like, stops
Breaks
his
his
fall a little bit.
Yeah.
He gets to the ground, and now it's a hill, so now he's tumbling down the hill.
And you loved every second of it.
And his coat rips off at one point, and then he hits Private Reich's body.
Oh,
so now they're tumbling down the hill together.
Oh, no.
But then Guy gets faster, so he's falling ahead of him.
You
Still
did say this
tumbling.
was a Western horror comedy, right?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Correct. So now Guy gets to the bottom, and there's like a hole in the ground that was like covered by a bunch of like tree branches and stuff, and he falls into the hole. And then Reich falls in behind him, but Reich's like foot gets caught at the trees at the top, so he's just now upside down,
Oh, God.
like covered in blood. And I'm like, alive? Question
Alive?
mark?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Reich grabs Guy's neck and starts choking him.
What?
Upside down choking him. And
No.
so Guy like throws him off, and then like Reich falls into the onto the ground in the hole and is dead.
Okay.
So I think that was just like his last stitch try to stay alive.
Yeah, just I'm gonna strangle whatever's in front of me.
Is this his body's reaction? I don't know.
What if that's what happens like right before you die? Like you just reach out and strangle whoever's in the room.
You better watch out if you're trying to eat me, bitch.
I guess so.
And so now Calhoun up top is just like looking down off the cliff
He's having a rough day.
for them. I don't think this went as planned. So back in the hole, it's now like has all like, it's like, I guess a bunch of trees have fallen down here or whatever. So it's like a bunch of trees. And so it's like covering up the hole. So you can't really see them.
So it's not like a purposely set trap.
I don't know.
Okay.
If there were a purposely set trap, it would look like this, but
Okay.
who fucking knows? But in general, like the whole entire area around there is like knocked down trees and stuff like that. So it could be an accident. But
Okay.
Reich is dead, but like with his eyes open. So he's just laying there like, and he is like this actor. Also, like every actor in this has like been in everything. Like you would recognize them all.
Yeah.
I just didn't know all their names, but he has like the brightest, bluest, like sky blue eyes.
Ooh.
So he's just like dead-eyed with like the fucking big, just bluest eyes.
Riker.
And
Sorry
it's-
to see you go.
But it's almost creepier in some
It's
weird
almost
way
creepier. Okay. Yeah.
because they're just so bright and dead.
Where he like looks like a White Walker.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the hole, also Guy, I guess, like I think like a branch or something has like gone through like his leg.
Okay.
And Calhoun is now basically like traversing down the mountain like to go look for them, I guess. So now Guy is like in the hole and he can like see Calhoun like walking around like up top, like kind of through the branches a little bit, but Calhoun can't find him. And Calhoun's like sniffing around, like literally like
Oh God.
ends up going like in a different direction. And so Guy just like passes out. So now it's nighttime. He puts like a branch or something like in his mouth and then just like silently pulls his leg off the branch. And it's like, ow, jeez.
Oh God. Anytime that you have to bite something or drink something in olden times, you know it's gonna hurt really fucking bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Cut to chopping wood. Our friend Cleves, David Arquette Cleves, back at camp.
I completely forgot about these assholes.
They're at
Good for
camp.
you guys. Yeah.
Cut back to Calhoun, who's now like dragging a body like into the cave, giggling.
This fucking guy. He's terrifying.
Now it's nighttime again. They keep showing night by like the moon, and so the moon is like changing, like you know, it's like you can
To
tell,
show the
like,
passage of time.
yeah, it's like really cool actually. So, and Guy is just, did he caress his face? I don't think he did that, but it looks like that's what I wrote.
But maybe he did.
Maybe
Why
he
are you being so judgmental of him caressing his own face?
No, Reich's face.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, no, he covers it.
I like caressing better. In my head, it's going to be caressing.
Yeah. With some tree branches.
Yeah.
With some
yeah,
little
exactly.
pine trees. And then he eats some tree bits. Back to the next day, Martha's just kind of like back at the camp, just looking out to the horizon. Like,
Oh, because George.
yeah.
Oh.
And Guy is in the hole just like shivering. He's so cold. Calhoun is sitting in the middle of like the river thing on some rocks, just like chilling, eating something off a bone.
Oh, no. Okay, I kind of like this Calhoun guy. He just seems, you know, he's
fun.
just passionate about barbecue.
Yeah. I mean, he's just trying to live his best life.
Yeah.
And now it's nighttime again. And Guy takes Reich's like coat because he's like freezing. Another daytime, Calhoun's just like skipping rocks on the river
What a happy little guy.
with like blood drips all down the front of his shirt.
Sure. You got to wear a bib, buddy.
Yeah. Now it's nighttime again. And Guy is just like talking to Private Reich. And he's just like should I stay here or take the hill? Like, tell me what to do. I need you to tell me what to do. And just
Yeah.
his creepy dead blue eyes staring.
Oh, God.
Question number 5. What do you do and what does he do?
All right, so I'm in a hole.
Yeah. Yes, I just said yeah, like into my coffee mug.
Into your cup, but yeah. But can I just need to understand this hole better. I can't get out of it, or I can get out of it and I'm choosing not to because I was trying to wait out Calhoun?
I think it would be challenging to get out because you do have a wounded leg.
Okay.
But not like, it's not 75 feet deep. Like it's just like a,
Okay.
it's a
All
couple,
right.
6 feet down maybe.
Here's my idea.
Okay. I can't wait.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm stuck in this fucking hole. All right? But I have a bargaining chip, and that is some human meat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, Calhoun, listen, motherfucker, you get me out of this hole, and I will gift you with this whole man.
Oh, a
And-
man meat gift.
Yeah, he's already dead. You get me out of it. Now, obviously, I'm not going to, like, trust him, per se. But I do think if I can kind of buy myself some time and a way out, then I can be like, rock to the head, running back to camp. But I got to get out of this hole. What does he do? Does Guy just try to, like, climb out of the hole and make a run for it? That's what I'm going to say.
I'm going to give a point for you. I actually think that could maybe work out for you.
Thank you.
Guy, let's see, what do I say next? Guy eventually does get out of the hole,
Okay.
but he like can't really on his own at the moment.
Right.
So he's freaking out a bit, and then there's like flashes of like fire, and then like that stake from the beginning, and this is when I forgot, like, this was late last night. Sometimes it takes us 47 hours to watch a movie and take notes. I also had a long day when my brain was fried, and so then like by the time this came up again, I couldn't remember the word, and so I wrote Weebogan. But like, what was it? And now I currently can't remember because it's also been a long time.
Wendigo.
Yeah.
Winnipeg.
Weebogan.
Winnebago.
I write it like again and I can't remember. Like I just had to, sometimes you just gotta scribble and like keep going.
Please only read what you have written from this point forward for that word.
He's like, it's like different flashes of like fire, Weebogan, steak, and then he grabs like the knife out of
his chest,
out of Reich's, and he's like kind of like, he's like, God damn you, and he's like, you're dead, like you're safe now. And then he stabs Reich's leg
to eat it. But you gotta get out of this hole, buddy. Okay.
Cut to the top of the hole, and we see some tree branches moving, and Guy climbing on out.
All right.
And now he's traveling across mountain, limping and traveling, and snow and limping, and then he sees camp.
There it is.
And he looks like Jack Nicholson in The End of The Shining by this point.
Sure.
But he's back, and Cleves is like, holy shit, and he sees him and he calls Martha and Knox. Cut to Guy in bed, and Knox is like kind of like helping his leg. And now it's like nighttime, he's sleeping, and he like wakes up from a nightmare and like is all freaked out. Now it's daytime. The next day he's outside like walking with like a cane, and he goes to like a teepee area and looks through the Winnebago pictures.
Yeah.
And Martha comes in, and he's like, I need to know how to stop it. Like, I need you to help me. Like, I'm sorry about your brother. Like, I did not kill him, but how do you stop it?
Stop the Winnebag.
Yes.
Okay.
Winnebago. And Martha says, you don't. Wendeo eats, must eat more and more. It's never enough. He takes, never ever gives. You stop Wendigo. This is when she said it, so I was like, Wendigo.
Okay, you were like, ah, yeah.
You stop Wendigo. You give yourself. You must die.
Right.
Outside now, the head captain, my captain of the captain of the regular like the guy from the beginning.
From the beginning, yes.
Who I think is a general. They all had different things that I was calling them. I don't fucking know.
Girl.
And you don't know either, so it's fine.
And I don't fucking know. No, you could tell me that he's the chief czar, and I'd be like, sure.
Yeah, technically, I think Captain Beetledad is a colonel, but
Okay, got it.
and I think Guy is a captain, and then
But
I
I
think
mean, like,
this guy's a general.
There's like insane ranks. Like, there's like colonel, lieutenant, lieutenant colonel, colonel, lieutenant, lieutenant, like,
And also, they don't say them right away. So at a certain
Right.
point, I just had to be like, he's in charge, so he's general. And
Yeah.
or he's captain, whatever. I called them all captains. So this is
Yeah.
the head captain. And a couple army guys are now at the camp.
okay,
They're now in the office talking to Guy. And there's like, dude, there's no sign of anyone at the cave. There's no sign of the rescue party or the original party. There's nothing in the cave, no rope, no bodies.
what?
Yeah. And so Guy is like, you don't believe me. And Captain General is like, well, we have 4 missing bodies and no exclamation. This Windigi stuff, and he actually says it wrong on purpose,
Okay.
is like the stuff of like campfire tales. Like, we need facts, not myth. So like maybe you want to like clarify like your recollection. And Guy is like, I was coherent then, I'm coherent now. And he's like, I advise you to change your story.
Okay.
So outside, another guy comes into the camp that we don't really see, but Cleves and Martha are out there, and they are saying that that's the new Colonel Beetledad.
Oh,
basically.
okay.
Or like some new colonel is here. And Martha cries and Cleves hugs her.
Oh.
So we're in the office again with Captain General and Guy. And he says that the interim commanding officer is coming here until a permanent replacement can come for
Okay,
Captain
so
Beetledad.
So it's interim Beetledad.
Yes, that's
Okay.
who this new guy is.
All right.
He walks in and, Captain General says, this is Colonel Ives. And then a man walks in, and it is Calhoun.
No! You sneaky motherfucker.
And he's got his hair like slicked back, and his like beard has been trimmed into like a nice mustache, and he's got his like fancy million button coats on.
You were Colonel General Ives the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay.
And he has his rosary around his wrist.
Right. Shit.
And he puts his hand out to shake Guy's hand
Oh,
and says, Guy, how's the leg? And Guy, like, dramatically falls to the ground in the most dramatic way.
No.
Like, terrified, just huddling in the corner, terrified.
Wow, Guy. Wow, Guy.
So Ives and, like, assistant army guy, like, leave the room because, like, head captain is like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
And Guy's just like, it's him. He's Calhoun. He killed them all. And Captain General is like, are you mad?
Yeah.
So question number 6. What do you tell them to do to like prove that it's Calhoun. And I will take two answers could be right for this. What does he do and what do you do? There are two actions that could be right for him.
We are both going to tell him to check his shoulder for a gunshot wound. Yay!
First, he says, Major Knox was here. Major Knox saw him. Tell him to look at him.
Okay.
But then Major Knox is looking, and he's like, he don't look familiar to me. I mean, I remember that man had a beard. He was a bearded man. But you know, I was feeling a little ill that day.
Knox, get your
AKA
shit together. Drunk.
So
Also, you are a man that grows and shaves your beard. You have to know that a beard is not indicative of who someone is. Okay.
But then he says, well, you said you fired on Calhoun's shoulder, so wouldn't he have a wound?
Yeah.
So basically now Captain General is like, Colonel Ives, would you mind taking your shirt off and showing me your shoulder?
Yeah.
So
And your soul.
And just show me your soul. And Captain Ives is like, okay, and like very slowly unbuttons all of the buttons and like kind of makes a joke about his last physical exam and like hope Major Knox doesn't want him to cough or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
And then he's got like a twisty tie loopy thing, and so he does that and unbuttons just like a bit of his shirt, and then he just shows one shoulder.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, the other, please. And he kind of like looks at Guy and shows the other. Nothing there.
Damn it.
And they're like, thank you, Colonel. And he just stares at Guy and is like, not at all.
Fuck. How is this guy a super healer?
So then it starts thundering outside, and General's assistant Guy is like, we should probably leave now before the storm. So basically, all those people are leaving.
Right.
So the people that are left are Cleves and Martha, Major Knox, Guy, and Colonel Ives.
And Colonel Ives. Yeah.
So in the kitchen, Cleves and Martha are like talking about how Guy was saying that Ives is the one who killed everyone. And at this point, Guy kind of like walks into the room, but Cleves doesn't see him yet. And Cleves is like, I don't know, he sounds loco or whatever. Da, 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 da. And so Guy walks up to him and he's like, I have to warn you guys, consider this your warning. And then he's like, grabs the knife from the table, like a big fucking knife. And is like, do you need this? And Cleves is like, nope. And he's like, good. And then just leaves with the knife.
Smart.
So now we're at dinner, and Ives is just like sitting at the end of the table, kind of just staring at Guy. And like, they talk about how he's not eating meat. And Ives says, I mean, I can just never forget that it used to be an animal.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. I fucking hate this guy so much.
And he's like, what about Guy? Do you eat meat? And Knox is like, oh no, he won't. Only as a last resort.
Oh God.
So now Guy is in, I think, like his room, and he's just staring out the window outside, and Cleves is outside, and he's like, I don't know, like chopping wood and lighting torches and shit, like doing work. And then all of a sudden the camera's like just on Cleves, and then all of a sudden Guy is like right behind him, and he hits him in the back with like a big piece of wood, and then gets on top of him and stabs him again and again and again. And then he rips open his gut and eats it as like Cleves is just like laughing.
What?
Cut to Guy still just looking out the window.
Okay.
It was
You
like a
trickster,
daydream.
you.
They tricked me too. I was like, what the fuck? It was just a little daydream.
Little daydream.
So now it's nighttime and we're in the living room, I would say. And Cleves and Knox are playing chess. Martha is like sitting on the couch working on some like an arrow or something probably racist. And Ives is just like sitting on a chair, like looking very fancy, reading a book.
Sure.
And Guy is like at the other side of the room looking rough as fuck. Just like staring at Ives. And it's just like kind of awkward silence. And then Knox gets...
Not for Ives. Ives is
He's
perfectly fine.
chilling.
Yeah.
But it's just... It's one of those moments where they like film for a long time with no one even talking. And you're just like... And then Knox is like, checkmate. And Guy is like clearly like very tired because he does start doing that thing where he's like nodding off, just like sitting there, you know?
Right.
And then the book closes and everyone jumps. And Guy like stands up and he holds the knife out like towards Ives. And Ives is like, wow, I mean, some of us could use a little rest, I see. And just walks away.
Shit.
And now it's like that night, I guess, and it's dark outside, and Guy is just like crouched outside, like holding the knife.
Oh, God.
I couldn't even tell like where he was or what he was doing, but Ives is like just outside, like smoking a cigarette. So I guess he's just watching him. And then Cleves like walks by and he's like, I'm going to go to bed. And so Ives kind of walks away too. And now Guy can't find him. And he looks and sees the stable. The door is kind of like banging a little bit, like open a little bit. So he starts to go towards it, but then Ives stops and calls him. And so now it's just the two of them outside.
Okay.
And he's just standing there like smoking a cigarette. And he's like, I found your private Reich out there. Or what was left of him.
Oh.
You didn't finish.
You didn't finish.
Can't blame you. He was tough. But, you know, a good soldier ought to be.
Ah!
And he's just
Where's my 1847 tape recorder?
straight chilling, smoking.
Oh, no.
And he says, not that long ago, I couldn't do that. And he's like, I could barely take a breath without coughing up a pint of blood.
Shit.
Tuberculosis. And, like, headaches and depression, suicidal, really bad shape. I was actually on my way to a sanatorium, pretty much to die. En route, a native scout told me a story that if man eats the flesh of another, he steals his strength, absorbs the other man's, and, you know, absorbs the other man's spirit. And I just had to try it. So,
Oh, shit. Is that why his shoulder healed? Keep going. Okay. It is? Yeah, okay.
So I ate the scout first, and he was absolutely right.
You fucking psycho.
And
Holy
Guy's like
shit.
listening, but he's still just holding out the knife like the whole time. Like he's like
Yeah.
defense mode.
Yeah.
And Ives is like, I grew stronger. And, you know, I was on a wagon train and we got lost in the Rockies. And Guy is like, yeah, I heard this story before.
Right.
And Ives is like, I ate 5 men in 3 months.
Oh.
Tuberculosis vanished. Along with the black thoughts, you know, I'm happy and healthy and virile. Viral.
But I like that you say with a little rolled R there.
Viral.
Viral.
Andre.
Yeah, if you say viral, then that's another word.
Yes. They're
Yeah.
spelled the same, no?
They are, yes. But
Viral.
yeah. No, virile I think is VIRIL, like virility.
Viral. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Virile.
That's him. He's viral.
Sure. Wow, the antidepressants of the Old West is human flesh.
Who knew?
Yeah.
And Guy asks, did you eat her too, the lady?
Mm-hmm.
And Ives is just like, as a matter of fact. And Guy's like, you're disgusting. And Ives laughs. And he's like, I'm more alive than ever before. That's what's surprising about you. You've tasted it. You've felt the power, but you're resisting. Why? And Guy says, because it's wrong. And Ives is like, morality. The last bastion of a coward.
Oh, God.
And then he just kind of slowly comes closer to Guy and is like, I'm sorry. Did I offend you? And Guy slices at him and ends up cutting his hand.
Okay.
So his hand's bleeding. And then Ives just puts his hand towards Guy's face and he's like, smell it. And Guy is kind of like heavy, like breathing and like trying not to, like,
yeah.
And Ives is like, you remember the energy? Like the
virility.
The virility. The plurality of someone else coursing through your veins. Someone brave. The disappointment as it dissipates. The need to replenish, and slowly just moves his hand closer and closer, and Guy is just like
like into it but doesn't want to be into it.
Yeah, and he's like closer, and then he pulls his hand away and he's like and he's just and he's like, I don't need to remind you. And he just like turns and starts to walk away.
I want to do this as a monologue.
Calhoun?
General Ives.
Calhoun General Ives. He is so good in this, and I recognize him from, is that show Once Upon a Time? Did you ever watch any of that?
Yeah, but I've never watched it. No.
I haven't seen the whole thing, but I saw he's in that, and that's what I recognize him from. I'm sure you would recognize him. He's
okay.
Just
that would be a fun monologue to do. That's
I think he has some other ones too, where he's just like
I do just have to point out, do you notice the subtle sexism even when it comes to eating people? That it was like somehow worse to eat the girl? I'm like, no, it's just as bad to eat anybody or just as good to eat anybody. It does not matter if it's a man or a woman. God, the patriarchy even infiltrates cannibalism.
Yeah, because at that time, it's like, yes.
Yeah.
So, question number 7. What do you do? What does he do?
I don't know. At this point, I'm like, maybe I'll just give in. Like, I'll just be like, hey, man, do you want to just be like a tag team and cannibal team? Like, let's just do this together. Let's just be buddies and like talk about eating people. And just like make a pact to like not eat each other. Like we'll just help get each other people food. I think Guy is okay. So I got so distracted by the patriarchy. So he sliced Calhoun Ives' hand.
Yeah.
And Calhoun Ives is now backing up.
He was like, I don't need to remind you, and he just turns away. Okay. And starts to walk away.
So Guy goes and stabs him. And then eats him.
It's 1.5 points.
Okay.
Ketrin's a cannibal.
Hey! I'm just
giving in so quick. He doesn't stab him, but he does jump on him and then holds the knife to his throat. But in that moment, Martha jumps on Guy and then holds the knife to Guy's throat. And she's like, if he dies, you die. And then Knox comes out and breaks it up. And Ives says, I was on my way to the latrine and Guy attacked me. And Guy's like, you're a liar. And Knox is like, I'm putting Guy under arrest. And he tells Martha to go get Cleves to arrest Guy.
Okay.
So Guy is now inside, I think the living room, sitting by the fire. Martha's looking around for Cleves. Knox is in some room, bandaging up Ives' hand. Martha's looking around. She can't find Cleves anywhere. She grabs a torch, starts looking outside, and then she hears something, and it's like the stable door kind of banging still. And so she's like, Cleves? And she opens the door. All the animals are dead.
No.
And then she runs back to like just outside the window of the room that Knox is in. And she's like, the horses are dead. The horses are dead. She's like standing right outside the window, and a drop of blood falls on her face.
Oh, no.
And Knox is like, what the fuck? And so he goes outside. Ives just like sits there chilling. And they look outside. On the roof is dead Cleves. Dripping blood.
Shit. Now, here's my question. Why did they kill all the animals when there's plenty of people to eat?
It appeared the animals had been eaten.
But okay.
So Knox goes into where Guy is, and he just fucking rages in and headbutts him. And he's like, that was for Cleves, and this is for my horse. And he fucking punches him and knocks him out.
Good. I mean, not good. I'm very confused. I'm very upset about the animals. I needed somebody to be punched over the animals. So
Well, they just were.
Yeah.
It was Guy.
Yeah. I wish
you.
Who is me? Yeah. So I have a lot of feelings right now, and they're confusing me. Continue.
So you just got punched for killing the animals.
Yeah.
So now it's daytime. Basically, they're going to have Guy be moved to a military prison like as soon as possible. But Knox needs someone to go by foot to go get Captain General Guy. Mm-hmm. So Martha's going to go. So she leaves camp, and Ives is like, safe travels, Martha, and like closes the doors of like the camp.
Yeah.
And like puts the wood board down.
Right.
Game of Thrones style.
Yeah.
So now it's just the three of them left in there.
Okay.
So Guy is in like his bedroom, basically, chained to the wall or something. And this bedroom's connected to like the living room, pretty much in the living room kitchen area. When I say kitchen, it's like
where the food
happens. Pot over fire.
Sure.
Situation.
Yes.
That's, when we are. So he's chained up in the bedroom. Ives, he's chained up in the bedroom. And Ives like sits in front of him with like two fingers out that have blood on them and kind of just like sniffs them and then like licks them. And I was like,
are they about to fuck?
And I was like, I'm not normally into cannibals, but like he could get it.
Yeah.
I was like, hello. It was just like, I think he was doing more in a teasing way to Guy of like don't you want to eat people way. It didn't appear sexual towards Guy.
Right.
It did appear sexual towards me.
Towards you. Right.
And
I hear
was
you. Sexualized.
I'm into it. I was like, let's eat people together and
starting with me, am I right?
Let's have some sexy times rolling around in blood. I don't know. What are you into?
Yeah. Because I'm into it too. I was about to look up who he was, but I don't want to see any spoilers, so I won't.
Yeah. Okay, I have to move on. Oh my gosh. I'll have to find that scene for you. Now I'm going to watch it back and be like, that wasn't sexual at all. Cut to Ives in the kitchen, like chopping potatoes. And the bedroom door is open, so Guy can't see anyone out there, but he's just like yelling for Knox, basically. Like, and Knox happens to be like in some other room or building or something and drinking and sees his sword on the wall like askew or something. So Guy is still yelling and he's like, talk to me. And he's like, I'd like to know you're still alive, Knox. So basically, that's why he's yelling for him.
Yeah.
So at that point, Knox comes in at the doorway and is like, "Be quiet, Guy." So he goes into the kitchen to Ives and he's like, "Oh, my sword is missing." And Ives is like, "Haven't seen it." And he's like putting potatoes in the pot. And Knox asks, like, what's he cooking? And he says, a stew. And he's like, Knox is like, "Do you need any help?" And Ives is like, "No, perhaps later you might contribute."
Be in it.
And Knox is like, "Sure, let me know." Guy is now yelling at Ives, like asking when he killed Cleves and the horses. Like, he was like, "I was watching you the whole time. Like, when did you do it?"
Yeah.
And Knox is like, "Be quiet about that." And he goes to the bedroom and closes the door.
Okay.
Now he goes back into the kitchen area and the main door to the outside is open. And Knox is like, "How'd that come open?" So he goes and closes it, turns around, stops, and stares and says, "Good gracious. Someone," it's like a real close wash, so we can't, it's just like we see someone walks by, slashes him, and he falls to the ground.
Oh, shit.
Ives is still standing at the pot with the potatoes, and he like looks down at the body.
What the fuck is happening?
So Guy in the bedroom, chained up, hears like a thud and starts yelling for Knox. And then he hears slow footsteps coming towards the bedroom. The door opens. Bonus point. Who is it?
Calhoun's twin brother. I'm just kidding. Or am I kidding? What is your face doing? Who is it? Two twin cannibal brothers. Two twin cannibal brothers. I'm going with that.
No.
Ah, damn it. I was trying to read her face, guys. I need to just read my own mind and not try to read her face.
It is
Who?
Captain Beetle Dad.
Captain Beetle Dad?
And he has splashed with blood. And he says, "Hello, Guy." And he's like, "I hated doing that." And we see behind him, Ives is like dragging Knox's body outside. And Ives says, "I told you my regimen held curative powers."
Oh, so he fed him some people and it made him not be dead anymore or about to die.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Now, why did he do that rather than just eat him? I guess I'll find out. Keep going.
Let's keep watching. So Captain Beetle Dad is now like unlocking Guy. And Guy's like, "You killed Cleves and like you killed the horses, And Guy's like, "What happened to you?" Captain Beetle Dad says, "I thought I was dead. I was feeling the pain as like life slipped away. And it was like drowning in darkness. And then it was nothing. And then I woke up and Ives was feeding me. And by the time I regained my senses, there was no turning back. I feel terrific."
Yeah. Am I going to find out who he was feeding to him? Because I can't map that. I thought everyone fell off a cliff.
The people from the cave. Guy, Jesus, maybe a little bit of Reich.
Okay. Well, not Guy. Wasn't feeding him Guy.
Did I say Guy? I meant George.
You did. George. Okay.
G word.
G word. Yeah. Okay. So George. Okay. All right. So there were people to feed him. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. That's also why Ives is so great right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I got that.
So Guy says to him, "So you're going to kill me then?" And Captain Beetle Dad is like, No. And he's like, "It's lonely being a cannibal. Tough making friends. I like you. We want to bring you into the fold.
Aww.
But you got to eat."
Yeah.
So Captain Beetle Dad brings Guy outside, Guy is looking like real fucked up. He's like covered in a blanket, just not looking his best. Ives is out there chopping up Knox's body.
Sure.
And now Ives has a little talk to Guy, just kind of like looking out into the wilderness. Here's another wonderful monologue for you.
Okay, great.
Manifest destiny.
Sure.
Westward expansion. In April, it will all start again. Thousands of gold-hungry Americans will travel over those mountains on their way to new lives, passing right through here. I mean, we won't kill indiscriminately. Good God. We don't want to break up families. And Guy tells him, you'll get caught. And he says, if it's just the two of us, that's why we need others. You, general, head captain. Not everyone, though. We've got enough mouths to feed. Just need a home. And, you know, this country is seeking to be whole, stretching out its arms and consuming all it can. We merely follow. And Guy says, not me. And Ives tells him that it's not courage to resist me. It's courage to accept. You're already one of us. Almost. I mean, you have the hunger for it. You just need to resign yourself. You know, it's not so difficult. Acquiescence. It's easy. Just give in. And Guy says, I can't. And Ives is like, oh, well then. Stabs him in the gut.
No!
You die. And he's like, you die. I mean, it's not fatal if you take the necessary precautions.
Right, because now he's like, if you eat people, then you won't die. Oh, shit. Shit's getting crazy.
Cut to stew's ready.
Yum, 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 yum.
Come and get it. Stew a la Major Knox. Captain Beetle Dad is, bowling it up. They're in the kitchen area. And he's like, a couple doses of this, you'll be right as rain. And now, basically, Captain Beetle Dad and Ives are just eating.
Yeah.
And just Guy is sitting with like a bowl in front of him and like spitting up blood, like barely alive.
Oh, no.
He's just like, and like,
oh, Guy, just eat the people.
and Ives is like, You know, Ben Franklin once said, eat to live, don't live to eat. It's like, it's an easy decision, Guy.
Yeah.
Fam or feast, live or die. Question number 8. What do you do? What does he
I'm
do?
eating the stew. I mean, I'm eating the stew. I'm fine with it. And I also have decided, like, I could get behind this little cannibal cult. Because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to be like, sure, I'm in, but we're going to kill the bad guys. And that's going to be, I was like, we're not going to kill good people. We're going to kill real pieces of shit.
You're going to turn into some fucking dirty Harrys and start ka-chunking around.
Yeah.
Get
I'm
those
going to
bad guys.
Yeah, I'm going to
eat
chunk
'em.
around this place and eat these bad guys. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Yum, yum, yum. Munch on up. I think Guy does too. Like, takes like a little like, and then just noshes forever. Yay!
Guy is like coughing up blood, so unwell. There's blood like oozing from his side.
Oh,
and he
God.
just like eats the stew. And Ives sits there and giggles and is like, bravo.
This is so, I almost, wow. The word that I didn't just say was adorable.
It is adorable. Ketrin is officially a cannibal. I mean, I'm having sex with cannibals, so I can't. I guess I can't judge too harshly. But
no, you can't. You can't. Wow. All right.
So now it's daytime. Guy's looking healthy. Ives tells Captain Beetledad that head general captain is coming. And now Captain Beetledad, Guy is still chained up in the bedroom, though. But he's looking much healthier.
Okay.
So Captain Beetledad brings in some stew for him.
Oh, I guess they still keep him chained up because he hasn't, like, officially agreed to
it was a little more forced into it.
Right.
So
okay.
He brings him another bowl, and he's like, waste not, want not. Ben Franklin. And Captain Beetledad asks how Guy's wound is doing, and he's like, it's right as rain. So now Ives is outside, like, climbing up to, like, the lookout room tower.
The crow's nest on the wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, not quite as high as that. It's more of just a second story, but
sure,
same idea. And Guy tells Captain Beetledad that he could use some fresh air. And Captain Beetledad is like, are you to be trusted? And Guy says, of course not. Cut to Ives up there, like, watching, looking. Now Captain Beetledad and Guy go to the office, Captain Beetledad's original office.
Oh, okay.
Guy is still handcuffed frontwards with, like, some chains. And then, they have some more walnuts and books talk.
Because of my podcast with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all the books are gone, and Captain Beetledad's sad about it. He'll miss them. And then he, like, has his drawer of walnuts with a stabby in it. Because I couldn't think of the word.
A stabby?
Because I didn't want to say knife because it seems more
like
of a
it's
specific.
It's like a opener, a nut opener.
No,
a nutcracker.
It's a knife. It's just, like, in the walnut drawer. But it's like one of those knives that you have a handle and then, like, a little round part and then the pointy part.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Wouldn't that be called something specific?
Yes, I'm sure it is.
So I wanted to call it that, and it was on the tip of my brain. I think it begins with an S is what I was looking for. But
scythe?
No, because that's, like, the roundy.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you were giving me. But
No. That's just part of the handle. There's just, like, the handle, and then pointy out.
I don't know what that is. We'll have to postmortem it. Postmortem it.
Yes. Well, whatever. It's a fucking knife. A knife is in the walnut drawer. They start talking about Plato and Aristotle and philosophy and it's just like happiness and how to achieve it. And Guy says that Aristotle, like, saw truth or spoke truth or something like that. And Captain Beetledad is like, I led my whole life according to what's right and true, and look where it got me. Fort Spencer.
And stabbed by a cannibal as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And back up to Ives, he has, like, his own little personal telescopy thing, and he's like, come on, General, like, where are you at? Back to the boys in the office. And Guy is saying, you have to let me go now, sir. And Captain Beetledad is like, I can't do that. Also, there's nowhere to go. Like,
yeah.
There's
where are you going to go?
No one around.
Yeah.
And Guy's like, I'm still having nightmares. And Captain Beetledad's like, no. And he's like, about Reich? And he's like, no. And he's like, Cleves? No. Knox? No. And Captain Beetledad is like, I don't want to hear this. Like, I no thinking back now. Like, all you have to do is kill. You have to kill to live. And he stabs the desk. Back up at Ives, he now sees 3 people on horses coming in the very far distance.
Okay.
And he's like, ooh, breakfast, lunch, and reinforcements.
What a little spitfire this Ives is.
Back to the boys in the office, and Guy says, I'm going to kill him. Question 9. You're Captain Beetledad. What do you do? What does he do?
I'm going to get my walnut knife, and I'm going to stab Guy, and then I'm going to take him outside and yell up to Ives and say, hors d'oeuvres! What does Captain Beetledad do? So he says, you have to let me go. What was the last thing Guy said?
I'm going to kill him.
I'm going to kill him. But he seemed like he was kind of having nightmares because he didn't want him to talk about it. Does Captain Beetle Dad let him go? End of answer.
That's
Double.
1.5 points.
Oh, okay.
Because there's an added thing that he does.
Oh, okay. All right.
Captain Beetle Dad unchains Guy, takes the knife, and says, do me a favor. Before you go, kill me. I can't live like this anymore.
Yep.
So he stands and looks out the window and watches as Ives is like climbing down the ladder. And Captain Beetle Dad is like, do it quickly, please. So Guy grabs the knife and slits Captain Beetle Dad's throat. And so the blood squirts all out across the window as Ives is like outside walking towards them. So he sees, and he like walks up and like looks through the window and sees dead Captain Beetle Dad like fall to the ground. So he runs inside. Guy grabs a sword, I think, off the wall and swings at Ives. Ives like defends, and then the sword gets stuck in like a candle lamp or something.
Sure.
So he gets a little stuck in that, and so Ives runs outside. Guy eventually follows with the sword and like for the first time like fucking determination in his eyes.
Yeah. The cowardice has left his body.
Yes. So he's looking around. He goes into the kitchen, looks around with the sword. He's calling for him, looking in different rooms, and he's inside. And then he hears a bell dinging outside, like one of the ones
being
you
like,
would pull
"Hello,
with
we're here."
No. Just I don't know what the fuck would be used for, but it's on a rope. That's just like it's in the camp.
Got it.
So he runs out. No one's by the bell, but it's still slightly ringing. It's just Ives fucking with him, basically.
Right.
He goes to the stable, looks around there, and he sees like a giant like bear trap in there.
Oh God. Okay.
And Ives is now like outside at some. It's kind of like an outdoor, but like covered with a roof area. You know, like a patio.
Yeah.
That's the patio area.
Yeah, it's the patio area.
And he's lighting like the outdoor barbecue there. And he turns around and there's a fucking cross on his face in blood on his forehead.
Oh shit.
Like he got like Ash Wednesdayed with blood.
Ash Wednesday with blood. Yeah.
So Guy is outside looking around and he hears Ives laughing. So he like runs towards the sound, which is where the fire is, and Ives at that point like jumps through like the roof at him and starts hitting Guy with like a big piece of wood. And Guy like falls to the ground. He grabs like a hay pokey thing and stabs Ives in the stomach.
Okay.
And then stabs again, but then Ives actually catches it. And so now they're both struggling, like holding the thing. And Ives takes like his knife and stabs Guy in the gut like a couple times.
Shit.
And so now Guy hits Ives in the face with like the pole part of the hay pokey. And then like headbutts Ives a couple times. And then Ives headbutts him back. And then Guy falls back to the ground. They're both like stabbed in the gut in different places. So they're like, ugh. And now Guy grabs like a butcher knife off of like the tree stump by him. This is just like, there's weapons galore here.
Yeah. And that I run into this too, where I'm like, there's so many choices, but like you can't know there's a butcher knife.
Like I can't ask you what to do because they're just like, here's a weapon, here's a weapon, here's a weapon.
Exactly.
So then he like slices Ives' arm, which makes him drop the hay pokey. Now Guy grabs like a big piece of wood and just like hits Ives in like the head, and Ives falls back to the ground. Guy hits him again, and then like for whatever reason just jumps on top of him.
Sure. These two have a lot of sexual tension, I'm not gonna lie.
They're struggling around. Maybe there's a whole B story to this movie that I didn't even pick up on.
Where it's some real sexual tension.
Wow.
They just want to eat each other.
It's about homosexuality in the wild, wild west.
Yep. That's
knew?
exactly what it's about.
Who knew? So now he's on top of him. I was like, why don't you just keep hitting him? Instead, he's just like
keep hitting him.
throws the piece of wood down and like just jumps on top. So now there's
Well, now you know why.
yeah. So now they're like struggling with the knife. So now they roll around and now Ives is on top. And he stabs Guy in the side and then stabs him in the back and like leaves the knife like in his back.
Oh, shoot.
And Guy kind of like punches him away a little bit and like gets up with his knife like still in the back of him and like starts to walk away and like the some roof boards like fall down on Ives.
Okay.
Question number 10, your Guy, what do you do next and what does he do next?
I'm going to pull the knife out of my back, and then I'm going to go take a few munchy munches of Colonel Beetledad. And then I'm going to come back and kill Ives and have a nice little snack on him as well. And then we'll go from there. But I'm healed, so great. Trying to heal myself. What does Guy do? So he's walking away from Ives. Like the boards fell and he's walking away from him. Am I still as Guy, am I still trying to stay alive physically or in my heart?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I think he goes and takes a couple bites out of Beetledad, too.
I guess I'll give you I think you are trying to stay alive in your heart.
In my heart. Oh, okay. Then I'm
not aware of that yet, but I just to give you a hint.
Yeah. Oh, then, yeah. So Ketrin is gonna eat up. Guy is going to kill himself.
How?
No, kill Ives. He's gonna pull the knife out of his back. He's gonna stab Ives and then slit his own throat.
Point for you. I think that would definitely keep you alive.
Great.
I mean, you have a lot to deal with the Captain Generals coming real quick. But
sure. Yeah.
You're a Superman by that point, so you'd figure it out.
Yeah.
Guy stumbles towards the stable. Ives now climbs out of the boards and follows him. He opens the door of the stable and Guy is just sitting down against a pole in the middle of the room. So Ives picks him up. So now they're face to face, all the sexual tension.
Oh yeah.
Pulls the knife out of his back and then drops the knife. So now they're just holding each other and staring at each other's faces.
About to kiss.
And Guy pushes them both backwards and Ives down onto the ground. Guy is now on top of him and Guy pushes Ives' head down onto a little metal piece. Bear trapped!
Bear trapped!
Together.
Wow. Bear trapped together?
He's on top of him.
So both of their heads are bear trapped?
Their bodies are bear trapped.
Bodies are bear trapped.
His head is the one that clicked off the thing. So now it's
the thing,
snapped.
but they're both bear trapped. Okay, I got it.
So they're on top of each other, bear trapped, both dying. And Ives is like, that was really sneaky.
I love Ives.
And he laughs. And he's like, well, if you die first, I'm definitely going to eat you.
Sure.
Question is, if I die, what are you going to do?
Will you eat me?
Bon
Probably
appetit.
make out. I love this.
So now the horses come to camp. It's Captain General Head Guy, Martha, some fucking other person.
Yeah.
They're all looking around the rooms. Everything's empty. kitchen,
Sure.
whatever. Captain General, like they're kind of have separated looking around. Captain General's in the kitchen and he sees the stew brewing and it smells delicious.
Smells delicious.
Grabs a ladle, sniffs it, and back to Ives and fucking Guy. And Ives is like, eat or die. Back to Captain General. Gives a little old taste of the stew. And he's like, yum. Who made this
Yum-mo.
delicious? Takes another fucking bite.
Sure.
Back to the boys. Ives, who just said eat or die. And he's like, eat or...
He's Daddy McDedderson.
last breath. I thought it was a great death. I'm not going to lie. I really love this actor. So now, Guy's on top of him, looking at him.
Yeah.
At this point, Martha opens the door of the stable and looks in. And Guy sees her and is like, Question 11, you're Martha. What do you do? What does she do?
I'm just going to go ahead and just close those doors back on up and just walk away. Martha, I think, maybe lets him out of the bear trap. But then we have an eating situation a-brewing.
Point for you.
Yeah.
She closes that door.
Goodbye.
Walks away. Guy, like, slowly dies. And then Martha opens the door to camp and walks out of it.
I love this bitch.
Walks into the fucking distance.
She's like,
Goodbye. Fuck these motherfucker Wendigo cannibals.
fucking incredible. She is my favorite character that she's like, bye, bitches.
So Martha is the hero of this movie.
I love her.
And now it's just like an overhead shot of like Ives and Guys like bear trapped on top of each other with some sweet, lovely music.
Yeah, it's so romantic.
Fade to black.
Wow. But that fucking general head guy is going to eat up some Ives and Guy.
If he's getting the taste. He's getting
And
the taste.
Martha
He doesn't
is
even
just
know
like,
it.
Yeah, and Martha's just like, blessed be. Goodbye.
Yes. See you later, sir.
Oh, I love that movie.
Isn't it great?
I'm gonna do all of Ives' monologues. I can't wait. I'm gonna do all of them.
I can't wait to go back and watch my favorite part.
Hi, Sammies.
So we heard a rumor that you're not signed up for our awesome Patreon yet.
What? Where are you getting your BoneCon then?
It's cool, it's fine. You can still subscribe. Just hit the link in the show notes or search for us on Patreon. We're right there.
We've got all kinds of BoneCon.
That's bonus content.
We've got mini-sodes, postmortems, and Q&As, all live streamed. Polls, prizes, merch, and just a general smorgasbord of KK Sam.
So join us.
Or else.
Okay.
Okay.
Dead or Alive, you got 5 out of 10.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah, because almost everyone's dead.
Except for Martha.
Uh-huh.
Except for Martha.
Questions out of 22, you got 14 and a half. For a total out of 32 points, 19 and a half.
What? Oh, total of 19 and a half out of 32 points.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, sorry. My brain switched all of those numbers around and I could not decipher them. That's not bad.
Yeah. So
Pretty good. I love that movie.
that is Ravenous. And here is our discussion with Creep It Real. So, like I said, I was desperate to know the true story of this. So now we're going to have a little discussion with Creep It Real after we've listened to the true story, and we'll discuss that.
Yeah.
So
See you over there.
I guess if what you should do right now is pause this. If you haven't listened to theirs first, you should pause ours, go over to Creep It Real. There'll be a link in the show notes. Listen to the true story.
Yeah.
And then come back because we're going to have a discussion about what happened.
Yeah.
And there'll probably be like spoilers of everything. So
Yeah.
that
do that.
is that.
We're so excited to be on with you guys. I feel like we make the four of us make a nice little team. We all bring different things to the table.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
totally love it. I think this is definitely the beginning of a beautiful situation.
Could not agree more.
Yeah.
I could not agree more.
Okay. So that I don't know how to infer this at all. So that was that. And
There we go.
that was our movie. Hopefully you went and listened to Creep It Real. So now we're going to talk about it together.
Yay!
So when we decided to embark upon this little partnership, we let you guys choose the event based on sort of like what you guys wanted to research.
Yeah.
So how did you guys decide on this one?
Well, I think we're like drawn to cannibals somehow without even meaning to be.
It's been a weird thing this like month. We've been like cannibals, hatchets, like everything.
And it's so funny because when I was listening to you guys about it, y'all went sexual with it on a number of occasions, and I was like, I feel the same way.
I couldn't help it.
It's hard to. It's like I don't know why eating other humans turns into such a sexy endeavor. It seems when it's
so intimate.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the exchange of fluids,
Oh, yeah.
the bringing one body into another. Oof. I'm sorry. I'm getting
I think it's that
Very
time of
appropriate.
year. Yeah. I just about everything is getting me hot to trot.
There you go. I mean,
That time of year.
it is.
So when I watched the movie, I was like, this shit is bananas.
Yes.
And I was like, I cannot wait to hear the true crime tale of this. And then when I started listening to yours, I was like, oh, ours was like, I almost felt bad. I was like, ours was much more fun.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yours
It
like
was more
started just
interesting.
with like racism and just like just all of the worst fucking things. And I was
God,
like,
yeah.
oh gosh.
I got it.
Poor
Kim and I-
girls.
Kim and I are over here going, hot dudes are eating each other. Woo!
I wish sometimes I'm like, I wish I would have thought about my show premise a little harder than I have. But yes.
That's what alcohol's for.
True.
True.
But the hot guys eating each other part, I mean, that's what everybody looks for in life, right? I mean, just,
Honestly.
right. So
Yeah.
you definitely got the good end of the stick on this one. We just got some weirdos, maybe
For
lying.
sure. So here's my question. So we listened to yours, you listened to ours. It's obviously a very, very different. It was very Hollywoodized.
Very.
Oh, was it with the Wendigo? Okay.
all the twists and turns. All the twists
Yes.
and turns, yes.
But were there any points in our telling of the movie? Because obviously it's slightly different than like watching it because you're, hearing it like fourth hand, I guess. Was there anything that stood out to you guys that was like, oh, wow, this is like very close to what happened, or wow, I don't know why they changed this part of the story, or just any reactions in comparison to the movie and the story?
So I think literally the only part where he's talking about the fact that he goes and looks for firewood and comes back and sees somebody eating other members of the camp.
Mm-hmm.
That's
The only
the only thing.
six
That's
people,
the only similarity.
6 people, and that's
I
it.
completely agree. Yeah, like I was
Oh, yeah,
like, yeah.
that.
So it's just one man who ate 6 people, and that exact part was the only thing that was similar because it wasn't even technically the same time.
No, I
either.
noticed that
Like,
too.
Because this was
No,
the
it
movie
kind
was
of
like
was.
1840. It was like still
Oh.
1800s, but this was like 1847, and it was like the Mexican American.
Yeah.
War.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know why they
true.
would have changed that, but they
And
did.
what was the real time?
1890s?
A little bit later.
What? Civil
Hmm.
War. It was Civil War.
I've already forgotten, you guys.
Yeah. I remember it just being later, like definitely
It was
not
later.
that time. So I was like, wow, it's interesting. They like pushed it back. They like clearly didn't want it to make it the Civil War
And I
on
wondered,
purpose.
Yeah.
why wouldn't
which
they
is
just keep his
interesting.
name even? They didn't even take his name or anything. It was
Nothing.
very
Well,
interesting.
he also seemed like a way different dude in the movie
Yes.
because in real life he seemed like kind of dumb.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
And,
And
like
like mentally ill,
Yes.
as opposed to like our dude
was like
seemed
malicious,
maniacal and malicious.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
it didn't start out that way. Like he was just kind of.
Well, I think it's just sexier that way, you know?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we? Okay. So I sent all the girls a little clip from the movie because none of them have seen it besides me. So I want them all to watch it right now to get a reaction. So the video is of the main cannibal guy,
Okay,
who in the movie is like Calhoun / Colonel Ives.
Oh. sir.
Oh
Oh my god, that is the most sexual licking of of two fingers that you could ever see.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm into cannibals now.
That was like literally not, like you were like, it's really sexy, but like the thing you didn't describe was like there
How
was like
sexy?
a realism to it, and I was just like, are we having sex right now? Like, am I currently having sex right
It was
now?
very steamy.
Yes.
But, like
Yeah,
He really
he's already
sucked
done
on
so
those
much by
fingers.
that point. So like it's uncomfortable because I'm like, I'm so attracted to this man who's the worst person I can imagine.
that was so okay.
Oh, yeah.
That brings me to a point that I found really interesting in the character differences and the message of the movie versus like what was actually going on. So like this was like super sexy. Like this was like a vampire type thing where there's like a sexualization to like the vampiric myth. And like Ives in the movie was like, okay, I ate people for survival, but then there's this like added magic element where like I'm no longer eating for survival. I'm eating because it makes me like extremely virile and heal faster, and I'm into it. Like I'm like turned on by it. I'm into it. What I found interesting with Alferd Packer was that if I am in the wilderness and I'm going bananas and I'm frostbitten and life just sucks and I eat 6 people, I kind of feel like on the outside when you get back into society, it's like, no, I get a do-over. Like that didn't count.
No.
Like I can't be expected to answer for my actions when I was like so deprived of that which makes me live.
Exactly.
Like I just didn't, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
absolutely.
It was
I don't
very-
know. Go ahead.
No.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
Okay, it was very strange the way everybody vilified him for so harshly for something that was like, well, if you were starving out there and people were dead, why not eat them? They're just going to be decaying anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be traumatizing, probably.
Totally.
You know,
and like, I just
100%.
feel like that's definitely, maybe they didn't even have this. I mean, obviously, because you guys talked about how we have a lot of laws in place now that like this never would have happened today because it's like
Those
whole-
weird non-murder laws are bonkers.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
but also just that like they could just like publish shit
Yeah.
about people and then expect them to be tried in the same place. Like
It was ridiculous.
all that kind of stuff was like super weird. But like I feel nowadays it would be like, everybody, we can all agree that he was like temporarily insane, right?
No, for sure.
Yes. Cool. Okay, great.
For
Moving
sure.
on.
I would definitely. Yeah, it was weird. They really didn't bring that much of that up. Like, you know, where it was like, wait a second, there were circumstances here that were extenuating
Yeah.
this. Yeah, it was definitely.
I mean, Do you think it was because like he was a little bit of a cuckoo banana before?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't
Yeah. That's a good
like
point.
he kind of already.
I mean,
So people like already had an opinion of him.
yeah.
I think so. Yeah, for sure. It's not something that any one of us have ever been in the middle of where we can say, oh, I was starving one day with a bunch of people and I didn't eat people.
Right.
Like,
It happens. It
how can-
happens.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the other thing, I mean, my husband told me this makes me very creepy. It's fine. I'm working through it. To me, it's like killing someone in self-defense, where it's like you can go in a court of law and be like, it was self-defense. And then that's a whole new conversation. To me, this is similar where it's like, I was very hungry. There was no other food.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat this human.
Mhm.
But there's this weird thing that happens with cannibalism where like somehow this is like the worst type of murder. And I'm just like, no, it's just murder.
murder.
Like,
I mean, it's pretty bad, Kat. Like, it's pretty
But it's
fucking
like-
bad.
But I'm saying like I would have just as much of an issue like killing an animal as I would a human
this is
to
like
eat them.
bad even within the animal kingdom. Like, they don't eat their own kind normally, most animals. You know what I mean?
Some mommies eat their babies,
But
if they're
that's
too
like a
weak.
specific thing and a specific kind of, like, I don't know. Like, most animals don't eat themselves. They eat other people.
Most animals.
Like, I'm just saying, I think it's a grayer area.
It should
Then-
be.
I think the survival thing for sure, but like
Yeah.
I could see why, especially back in like the 1800s, that they're like, he ate people though.
And he's gonna eat all of us if we don't watch out.
Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet that was a huge part of it.
I
was
think
like
so.
the
That
fear.
Yeah,
Of
and
it.
he was
Of like,
abrasive
Go ahead.
too. So it's like, I think that added to people thinking he was gonna always attack him at any moment.
Right.
yeah, that's true.
So, do you guys like not think that there was any like validity to like him kind of like wanting to do it for the money or anything? Like, you think it was like straight
I don't think
survival?
he wanted to do it for the money.
Yeah.
I truly don't know, to be
I
honest.
made $70 off of their bodies. Like,
Well, I don't know. That's what he claimed he got off their bodies, but then he did go on that spending spree in town where he was, getting sex and gambling. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I
and
think it was
horses.
more of a like ego and like trying to figure himself out, like trying to continue to survive type of thing. I don't think it was. I don't think it was a money thing. To me, it wasn't.
Or was it more like those cakes that you get at Mardi Gras where it's like, ooh, I'm eating this cake and it's delicious. And
The
ooh,
king
there's
cake.
like a little prize inside.
right, like it was
And
the
you're just
after
like,
effect.
This is just like
Yeah.
an added bonus. Like I ate this dude and oh, look, there's a
He's
prize
got
in
money.
his
Yeah.
pocket.
And I get to buy a horse with the money that's in his pocket.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's like, what are you going to do? Like not take the prize? Like that would be weird.
Yeah, it would be weirder. But that's what I thought was strange when he said, I left a bunch of money just laying on the ground. And it's like,
Yeah,
no,
that's weird.
You didn't.
You did not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, your lies are making me question.
That's
everything
worse than
else.
eating people. Let's be real. Stop it.
Yeah.
So, I guess this is like he's the only person that knows this, right? But it's like, so how did those people actually die? Because it's like they die and then you eat them, or like you murder them and eat
Did you
them?
murder them?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But,
It's
It's
possible.
only his story, right?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. That's
Yeah.
kind of like the Donner Party where they didn't necessarily have to eat the rest of the party. He didn't necessarily have to eat the remainder of the party.
Right.
It just became the easier way to
It was there.
survive.
Yeah, it was there. So why not
Oh.
eat it? Yeah.
Right. I mean, once you pop, you can't stop.
It's like a Pringle.
It's got to be addictive, according to It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
That's what I always
Yeah.
recommend.
Yes.
I am so glad you guys referenced that Always Sunny episode because literally as you guys were talking, I was like, this is like the Always Sunny episode. I hope they mentioned the Always Sunny episode.
I always think about that episode. It makes me cringe so much.
It's so funny.
It is. Oh my goodness.
The
But yeah.
best.
What was the shining moment of the movie for you guys? Was it the sexy blood licking or
Yeah, I was going to say, do you mean other than
Other
the
than
time that we
that.
all just had sex with
Yeah.
the same man?
with the guy who played Rumpelstiltskin on TV, I think.
Yes, that's what I know him. I mean, for me, like in the movie, at least, like I thought the twist was really good. And Ketchern even said this, like she was like very quickly on, she's like, I got this fucking figured out. I know what's happening. And then there's like twist number 1 where she was like, didn't see it going there. And then there's like the big twist where you're like, oh shit. Like I just wasn't expecting it. So I did think it was like well made in that way, just like as a film.
Yeah.
Of like him being Calhoun, because it's like first he's Calhoun and then you realize he's actually the cannibal, but then when he's actually Colonel Ives, it's just like holy fucking shitballs.
Yeah. And then you realize that at the beginning he said like, it's good you don't know Colonel Ives because he's a despicable person. And you're like, you're a despicable person.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense that it was made by or written by the lady that did. Is that the lady that did Ocean's 11? Is that what you said, or the guy? Was it
the guy who wrote Ocean's 11? Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was a lady in my head for some reason.
The director was a lady.
Director. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see that with all the twists and turns.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it
it's
was very. Think of what else was like. I mean, all of the characters were really great. Like the actors were really good in it. They were all very defined characters, which was like fun. You know,
I really want to watch it now.
I honestly, I recommend it. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is bonkers. Like you kind of have to like let it be that, you know, like once you like, sometimes we watch a horror movie and it's like very straight, you know what I mean? So if you're expecting that and then get this, you're like, what the actual fuck? But when you like are like, okay, this is its own thing, then it's great. I liked it.
I'm really glad because I was a little worried that y'all were gonna hate this one.
Well, I think what also is fun about one of the many things I've come to love about our podcast is like, even if the movie that I'm watching is bad, it is never going to be not fun to tell the movie to Kim.
Yeah.
So like, it kind of doesn't matter if the movie is shitty.
100%.
That just is more fodder for conversation, which is delightful.
100%.
Because it just means that like there's a pot of gold at the end of the shitty movie rainbow.
That's so true.
Speaking of ladies, I would like to give a toast to Martha, the character, because she was my favorite character in the world.
She won.
She did. And like her thing of like, just like, all you white assholes can just fucking kiss my ass. Goodbye. And she just pieced out. She just left.
My
She
favorite
like,
thing that you were like, I would close the fucking door and peace out. And then her thing that she did was she closed the fucking door and she peaced the fuck out.
and pieced out.
Exactly that.
It was so awesome.
And it was fucking brilliant. I was like, yes, queen.
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here with these fucking
It reminded me of
idiots.
that SpongeBob meme that's like him being like, all right, I'm gonna go.
I'm out.
It's great.
I guess in that way, that the movie also reminded me of the actual story, in that it seemed like there was actually secretly a bunch of them that were pieces of shit, kind of, you know, they all kind of like easily gave way to the, well, I guess, I don't know if you're a piece of shit if you're starving and you eat human meat. Like we said, it's kind of a gray area.
It really is.
I also just like don't know in your story, and tell me if there's like an obvious detail that I missed that would refute this, but like I don't know that we can say that Alferd is the only one who ate people.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%.
Like, he seems like the last one standing, but there's not really any way to say that they weren't all eating each other.
Yeah.
That's very true. But like also what I find the most interesting, like how you end up as the last man standing.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's why it's like comes down to the wire of like, so everyone just died naturally except you?
Right.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? Or does there end up being a showdown at some point?
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
is also, I guess, survival. I don't know. I mean,
I thought you were gonna say Survivor, like the TV show, and I was like, yes, it is like that. like that, but that makes sense where it's just like there's maybe alliances where it's like you get this leg and I get the other leg, but we have to kill him, and then it's like just the two of us staring at each other, and it's like who's gonna make it? Kim and I decided that we would just slowly feed off of each other.
Oh,
yeah, little
like,
bits
that's
of
sweet.
of yourselves.
That's very sweet. I'm not gonna offer myself up so easily.
I wouldn't either. So I don't know.
I was thinking that's kind of the same way that people become politicians, is they just turn. You know,
They
slowly,
eat each other.
They slowly but surely, just give up all convictions and eat each other. Yeah.
There we go.
You know,
Yeah.
And then you're running for president.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's if you had any convictions to begin with.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, totally.
Very true.
That's probably the key for all of us. We're like, I'm fucking exhausted. I'm depressed. I have seasonal.
Yeah.
I need something. It's human meat. Is basically.
We just need to find humans to eat.
I do wonder, like, if I just wish he could have been more honest, because everyone hated on him so much. Because then I'm just like, tell us all about it. Like,
how does it? Yeah. How does it?
How did you feel? Do you want more?
Yeah.
You know, are you interested in more? Like, I wonder if he secretly continued eating meat or humans and meat in his life.
I feel like it creates a hunger. I mean, I can't help but think deep inside of you, you're like, I'm always needing that human meat.
I know. I just want to
Interesting.
This is making me realize, Kim, I think you're right. I would like to speak definitively to a cannibal and be like, no judgment here, bro. Like, I just want to know about your inner life, like your inner emotional life as a cannibal.
I might judge you a little, but tell me the truth.
A little.
Because Colonel Ives was into it.
Yeah.
But Guy Pearce was like, no, thank you. My morals. And he tasted it. He tasted it too. Like, he had the flesh.
Yeah. He did.
And so I guess maybe it just comes down to your morals at the end of the day.
Well, I'm fucked.
I think Ashley and I are going to be like, bring me a leg.
Give me that muscly meat. I want a big, strong leg wrapped around me, and life and food.
Yeah, there you go. Me too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I will say, like, I don't even eat meat, human or
You're
animal. I'm a vegetarian.
Wow.
Yeah. But when Kim was describing that human stew, I was like, I mean, that sounds delicious. Like, it just sounds, she just described the stew really well.
Oh my God.
And I haven't craved a stew for many years since I stopped eating meat. And the first one I craved was that of human.
Kim,
so
you have a new job. Describe
I'm
food.
I'm a little concerned.
I am
I love
unemployed.
Yeah.
I guess though, if you're a vegetarian, it's possible that humans are almost better options than animals, because you're doing that probably for a reason.
That's how Ketcher feels about it.
Thank
exactly
you,
how Ketcher
Ashley.
feels.
That is my actual thought. I'm like, I would have an easier time eating humans than I would animals.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. There is no such thing as a shitty animal. Animals aren't assholes.
Yeah.
They're never assholes. It's not possible. Humans, on the other hand, there's a few I could take out.
When you said that, I was like, I always talk about, like, and I don't know if I should ever, I say it all the time publicly, I probably shouldn't, but I'm like, I could really be somebody that just secretly assassinates terrible people.
Girl, high five.
Okay, where's my camera?
Yeah,
but
you guys would
so
make a great
we could,
team.
we could team up. We'll never get caught. It'll be amazing. It'll be amazing.
Here's a dynamic I'm noticing right now. So Ashley and I are the wild cards that need to be kept in check by our partners. So
yes,
I've married two people, my husband and Kim, both of whom remind me that that I should have morals, like that I should,
I thought you meant you've been married twice. I was like, me too. Okay, well,
no, I just think it's unfair to not count Kim among my important relationships in my life.
Yes.
But it sounds like Bianca is the mitigating force in Ashley's life. Is that an accurate assessment? No? No, you both are just going hog wild.
I'm going hog wild pretty much.
It depends.
Always.
It
Yeah.
depends which one of us needs it. Like there are times where I go fucking nuts because I'm a ball of anxiety, and there are times where Ashley goes nuts. So we kind of flip flop that role, I think.
But
Okay.
yeah, I'm at a
Yeah.
I'm at a pretty constant like horn dog. Like I talk about, I'm constantly just being terrible in that way. Where she's like, oh, okay, or talking about just whatever wild shit I'm thinking in my head. Yeah, in that way,
I guess that's true. Yeah.
in that way, I think she does do that for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with you on that
Well,
assessment.
great. We all have to find our counterbalance.
Yes,
True.
agreed.
This was so much fun. We loved collabing with you guys, and hopefully we could do it again.
Absolutely,
Let's
doing
do
it
it.
again. Yes, yes, yes.
So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you to Creep It Real for this amazing collaborative episodes. It was so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone for listening. As always, please write us a 5-star review on iTunes if you haven't. Follow us on social media at KKSAM Podcast.
Come over and hang out with us on our Facebook group, Sammy Stay Alive Maybe. And we also have super fun, awesome stuff going on over at Patreon. You can sign up for a yearly subscription and get 2 months free. And if you sign up before October 31st, you'll be entered into a drawing to win a original Funko Pop doll of Kim and me.
Yeah, so exciting. So yeah, I guess you have half a month left for that. So
Woohoo!
sign up.
Yeah.
I think that's everything. We love you so much. Thank you for listening.
Yeah,
This
and
has
this has been
been-
Kim and Ket Stay Alive, maybe. So until next week,
Stay alive.
Bye.
Put a ghost in me. I'm done.